Oh boy, oh boy. There we go. Now we got sound. Ah, crap. Resets at midnight. Yeah. UFC World. Oh, this team's kind of fun. Should we go? Should we play a little bit of guess the picture? What fighter is this? Tom Aspinall, bro. Come on. This is so easy, and like I have to wait like 22 hours before doing it again. Okay, let's try and guess the quote. This got the better of me last time. Not this time. Derek Lewis, my balls was hot. This is insane. Guess the fighter with the emoji. Za? Do they have Zabit? Is it a name we're thinking? Are we thinking Alexander Volkanovski? No. Zamouth? I don't get it. I don't get it. Ilya Taporia? No. Muscle? What? I'm trying to think. This is tripping me here a little bit. I feel like you guys are like gonna be making fun of me right now for this. Okay. Big muscles. Polo Costa. A fist. Like they're fighters, bro. No Pudion, okay. I'm trying to think of someone who's like a really good boxer. I don't know. Joshua Van? No. It's not Connor. Rhino. Wait a minute. Who is nicknamed the Rhino? There's someone. I can't think of who it is. Oh no, I'm gonna blank on this so hard. I feel like it's a heavyweight. I feel like it's a heavyweight for some reason. I feel like there's someone nicknamed like the Rhino or something like that. Or is that an elephant? Ah, man. Doug Marshall? Who on earth is that? Okay, let's try like... No, I was gonna say, what about like Kamaru Usman? Because like he's big and muscular, mostly a puncher. But no. No. I'm thinking a heavier weight class fighter. I feel like it's gonna be like some unknown NPC type. So let's just go with like... Let's just take a guess. No? I'm trying to think of UFC heavyweights. It's not Derek Lewis. I'm trying to think. So casual. Come on, please. You gotta be nice to me. I know I'm gonna kick myself as soon as I hear it, but let's go with like Johnny Walker. I don't think it's Johnny Walker at all. Oh, like that's all the guesses I'm getting. Oh. Hold on, you ready for this? UFC fighter nicknamed... Is someone called the Rhino? Oh, you were not joking. You were not joking when you said Doug Marshall. Is he on that website? He's not even... No, he's not even a name there, though. What? Is that not a Rhino? Am I... What does the ZA emoji mean? No, stop. Oh my gosh, the ZA meant South Africa. I didn't know that. Wait. What's his nickname? Still Knox. What does a Rhino have to do with that? Am I dumb? Nah, that was a scam! Nah. Y'all out here just trying to make me look bad. Classic Guess the Fighter. Oh, well, we did this already yesterday. But we're going to do this again because it was fun. So, we're going to start off... No. Let's start off with, like, an American. Give me, like, John Jones. Alright. An American male who's kind of a light heavyweight or a heavyweight. I'm trying to think. Who's kind of an American heavyweight? Stipe. He's older than 44, and he's a light heavyweight. He's a light heavyweight, American, older than 44. Tito Ortiz. He's younger than 51. And he's a light heavyweight. Okay. A light heavyweight. How is it going to be BJ Penn? Japers. Randy Couture? I thought about that. But no. No, I thought it'd be Randy because Randy Couture's not 63. He's 62? Oh my gosh. That's insane. Bro could probably still beat up heavyweights today, to be honest. The guy is just built different. So he's older than 44, younger than 51. Do we think Dan Henderson? No, he's older. Buh. Ryan Bader? No, he's not even on the list here. Is it Daniel Cormier? So he's older than 47, but younger than 51. Let's give me a style clue. He's a striker. Glover? No, this person's American. This person's American. Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader doesn't pop up. Why are you rage baiting me? Rich Franklin? No, Rich. He's not gonna come up in here. A striker. Who is a retired American striker in the light heavyweight division? I feel like there's gotta be one. It's gotta be Hendo. Chuck Liddell. Is Chuck Liddell? No, surely not. Chuck Liddell's 57. Guys, think with your head here. Think of age. Think about age as well when we're doing this as well, okay? Even though I'm not really supposed to be looking at chat, it's kind of cheating. But at the same time, we're doing this together. You guys are holding my hand through this process. Okay, so when did he debut? He debuted sometime between 1998 and 2008. So we're thinking old school here. So we're thinking like Rampage? Older than 48. I came up with Rampage, by the way, before I saw it in chat. Don't even. Older than 48, younger than 51. Who else was around that era? Rashad? That one I did get from chat. Older than 47. He debuted in 2005. Are we thinking of like Forrest Griffin? What about, is Stephen Bonner on here? Stephen Bonner! Oh my gosh! That is so niche. That is so niche. You wouldn't know that unless you know ball. Right? You wouldn't. Oh my gosh, but we're gonna have to do this. Let's play some Infinite. Before we get into the reactions, we're gonna play some Infinite on here. Because this is kind of fun. Stephen Bonner. Yeah, that's cheating. Yeah, nice try. Let's do this again. So we're going to throw just a random fighter's name out here. Let's go. I'm trying to think of like a Brazilian. My favorite. There we go. Jose Aldo. Younger than 40. He's not from Brazil. He debuted after 2011. He's not a featherweight bantamweight. Okay. So younger than 40. I don't know why. I just need like an American. Because if it's not an American, then we can start to weed out the other countries as well. So let's go with let me just pick Colby. Let's go with Colby. Younger than 39. He's not American either. Debuted after 2014. He's not a welterweight. Okay. So how about someone like Khabib? Get a Russian. Younger than 38. He's not a Russian. He's not a Russian. I guess he debuted. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of besides the point. So we've gone over the big MMA countries, right? I don't think there's any other massive ones. All we know is that this person's a male. They're not a featherweight, bantamweight, lightweight, or welterweight. Okay. So why don't we go with like... Who's like a middleweight? Like, I don't... Dricus? No. Okay, he's not a middleweight. So we're narrowing this down a little bit here. So we're thinking either a light heavyweight, a heavyweight, or a flyweight. Okay. Who's someone that fought in both heavyweight? Like, okay, I'm going to put John Jones because I know John Jones is American and this fighter's not American, but I want to dictate the weight class. Okay, so this person's a flyweight. Is Joshua Van's not on here, is he? Could it be Joshua Van? Okay, so this person's a flyweight. There we go. We got that confirmed. And he's not American. He debuted sometime between 2020 and 2014. I mean, let me just throw a name out here. Kai France is a good shout. Well, there we go. I was thinking of Gucci or Gucci. But Pantoja? No, he wasn't Brazilian. Bet. That was just a shot in the dark that I just happened to get right. Okay. Again, let's start with the big countries. Start off with an Islam. So he's not Russian. He's male. He's younger than 34. He's not a lightweight. So we need someone who like fights in multiple weight classes, right? Like we need like a Conor McGregor. All right, just to like weed out. So he's a featherweight. He's a featherweight or a welterweight. Okay. So let's go with like who's like give me like a Brian Ortega. Is this person a featherweight? No. So he's a welterweight. A male welterweight. Give me Carlos Prates for the Brazilian poll. He's not Brazilian, but he is a welterweight, and he's younger than 33. Okay. He's not from Ireland, so it's not going to be Ian Gary. What about like a Shavkat? Younger than 32, but he's got 19 fights. He debuted more recently than 2020, but less recently than 2024. It's not going to... If it's Rumble Johnson... No, it's not, because this person's American. Or this person's not American. So it's not Shavkat, it's a welterweight. I need to figure out, like... I need to think of, like, another country. What? Not Russian, not American, not Brazilian. So we kind of got those out of the way. And he debuted somewhat recently. Right? Somewhat recently. It's not Kevin Holland. I was going to put him, but he debuted more. He debuted in 2018, and he's American. So what about, like, he's younger than 32. I was going to put Kamaru Usman, but he's not younger. And he didn't debut that recently. Okay. I don't know why. It's so hard when you're, like, sitting here. What about JDM? Are we thinking JDM? Epic poll from me. That was an epic poll from me. How do I do it, guys? I don't know. But it's what I do. It's what I do. Right? Start off at a heavier weight class, Magomed Ankalaev, right off the bat. So he's not Russian. We know that much. And he debuted... He's older than 35, and... Okay, so we're looking for, like, an old head type of fighter here. Okay. Give me Dan Henderson. He's younger than 56, but he's American. Okay. But he's older than 35. Okay, give me Frankie Edgar, because he fought in 3 different weight classes. Younger than 45. He's either a featherweight, lightweight, or bantamweight. Okay. That helps. Give me Dominic Cruz. Younger than 41. And he's not a bantamweight. A featherweight or a lightweight. You think Clay Guida? He's not on the website. He's not on the website. What do you think about DJ being over GSP because of dominance? I would say GSP was more dominant because he fought better competition. But, I mean, like, I wouldn't say either one's particularly wrong. Who beats Shavkat at welterweight right now? Probably JDM, to be honest. I think that's a very tough matchup. Depending on how good Shavkat's takedowns are. We don't know how good he is right now. An American male, lightweight, or a featherweight. So I'm thinking, like... What? You think Max Holloway? Max Holloway isn't even 35 yet. Okay, featherweight or lightweight. That doesn't really help me out very much. Older than 35, younger than 41. He debuted sometime between 2012 and 2018. Oh, man. This is hard. Like, I'm thinking a lightweight, right? I'm thinking a lightweight. But who's, like... No Eddie Alvarez? Okay. You think Josh Emmett? That's possible, actually. It could be Josh Emmett. No. Okay. He's not a featherweight, so this guy's a lightweight. An American lightweight. Benson Henderson? I don't even know if he'll... Will he be on here? No. Could it be Beneil? Older than 37. And he's a lightweight. What, debuted after, sometime between 20, so he debuted in 2017. Who's an American lightweight that debuted in 2017? That is so, like, specific. No. I was gonna put Kevin Lee. Justin Gaethje. You guys are so freaking smart. I forgot about that, too. That was when he fought Michael Johnson. That was, like, fight of the year. Man, what an epic time when Justin Gaethje was, like, war mode Gaethje, right? Okay, we'll do one more. Okay. Let's just start off, like, with a random shot in the dark. Who do we think it's gonna be? Off rip. Who do we think it's gonna be? Give me Patty. Give me Patty. Older than 31. Okay. That doesn't really help me out. This is why we pick multi-division fighters. Okay, it makes it a lot easier. Jose Aldo for the featherweight, bantamweight. He's older than 40. And he debuted... Oh my goodness. Whoever this person is an old head. Frank Mir. Older than 47. It is a heavyweight. Like, I'm thinking like Andre Arlovsky. No? He's not American. He's a heavyweight. I was going to say Vitor Belfort, because I think he used to fight at heavyweight way back in the day. Heavyweight. Who's not American and debuted sometime between 2001 and 2011. Are we thinking... Rumble's not a heavyweight, bro. He is not a heavyweight. I know it's like a funny meme to pick Rumble or whatever, but... What about, like, Big Nog? I'd have to type in, like, Antonio. No. It's not an American. That's where this gets very tricky. That is very tricky. Older than 47, too. So, it's gotta be, like... are we thinking, like... No, not Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett's American. Why am I don't know why I'm struggling with this so hard. He's not Brazilian either. So it's not like a Pedro Hizzo. Like, is Fedor? Fedor's not even... He never fought in the UFC, though. Mirko, maybe? Could it be Mirko Krokop? Y'all saw it here first. I did it first try. It wasn't Big Knock, no. Mirko Krokop. That was an epic pull, gang. That was an epic pull. W game for real. Listen, I got a bit of a bone to pick here, by the way. I'm going to tell you why. So that GOAT list I reacted to yesterday, the one Kenny Oki, yeah, it turns out that was an outdated list. Now, of course, it's still going to end up going posted on the channel. But now I have to react to his latest list. That was a few months ago. But we're not going to react to that video first here today. I have another one, actually, here. Okay? You ready for this? MMA Chi... Actually, wait, hold on. Let me just do this. Just want to say I love your stuff. How would I submit a GOAT list for a vid? I usually get them off TikTok. Like, whatever. I don't even, like, go out of my way to look for them. They just pop up. And I'm like, I can make a video on that. MMA Chi has made a video, The Weasel Must Be Stopped. So this video is in reference to The Weasel's most recent video where Daniel Cormier came out and said that he would feast on the current light heavyweights because they can't wrestle, right? And I agree with The Weasel on this, right? But I want to see what MMA Chi has to say. I'm going to be as neutral as possible. I am a fan of The Weasel's content, but I don't really know MMA Chi, but I'm going to try to remain as neutral as possible. Today we declare war on the Weasel. His old head glaze has gone on for too long, and he's poisoning the minds of MMA fans with his opinions on DC, Alex Pereira, John Jones, Yuri Prohaska, and Alexander Gustafsson. Okay? Let's do this. You guys ready for this?
No left.
Today, I have the very unfortunate task of... It looks like declaring war on the Weasel, someone who, in the past, I had so much respect for. I look...
Too much yap. Let's get to the point.
feasting on the light heavyweight division.
And here, sorry, Chad. Let me move my face cam. About right there.
Precise wording there from Daniel.
By the way, peek this reaction to a reaction video. We love to see it.
Cormier on how he describes what he would do to this generation's division. He believes that he would have just ran through all of these guys because they can't wrestle, and would of course target Alex Pereira if he was still in his prime.
For a multitude of different reasons. One, Alex Pereira would be a big money fight because he's one of the biggest stars in the sport. But not only that, he has not had to wrestle against the likes of DC or John Jones. So we don't know how his takedown defense is, but I get the point.
Definitely
DC would be the first person to try to shoot takedowns.
Devour the 205 division, one by one, piece by piece.
Also, sorry if you keep pausing. I have seen this video from the Weasel, and I have agreed with his take. I don't know if this is clickbait by MMA Cheat or not. So I could be getting rage baited, for all we know. But I'm already angry, so let's do it.
No leftovers. Not a single light heavyweight today, I think, would defeat Daniel Cormier. But, this is what he had to say about it. If I was in my prime at light heavyweight right now, there is no wrestlers, bro.
True.
Like, seriously.
True.
There's no wrestlers. I'd be feasting on everybody at light heavyweight. There's no wrestlers.
You know why there's no wrestlers, though? You know why there's no...
Because, I'll answer this question. There's no really any real wrestlers in the light heavyweight or heavyweight divisions right now because people of that size don't generally go into combat sports. Most of them go into other sports like football and basketball and stuff. That's usually what it is. There's not as much of a talent pool in the heavier weight classes. And if there is, they usually go into boxing because there's more money to be made.
Wrestlers. Because, legitimately, pure wrestling is the worst base for MMA.
No way you just said that. No way you just said that. Whatever you have, this video is now invalid. This video is invalid now. There is no way you just said that. Out loud? Wrestling is the best base for MMA. Because then you can control whether the fight is on the feet or on the ground. You get to control everything. When you improve the stand-up and you improve the BJJ to go along with your elite level wrestling, wrestling is the best base for MMA, right? Obviously, it depends if you're talking about American-style wrestling, Dagestani-style wrestling, or just Chechen in general. Like, if you're talking about just straight-up American wrestling, I could see the point. But if you're talking about that, that Russian, Dagestani, Chechenian-style wrestling, that is the best base for MMA. That and, combat sambo.
And that's a fucking fact. And that's not the same.
It also depends on the weight class you're in, too, right? In the 205-pound division, you can get away with having American-style wrestling. I think you 100% can. Because there is no real wrestlers there. There is no real Khabibs or Islams or Hamzats at 205. There's a reason why I think that Hamzat would beat the crap out of most of the 205-pounders.
Say that somebody can be a wrestler and then become a very good mixed martial artist. I mean, for sure. I mean, of course not. Of course that's possible. But, someone like Hamzat Chimaev who comes from wrestling is a phenomenal athlete. Oh my god, you guys are so stupid. Emmanuel Goat,
Call your fans stupid. Yeah, that's a really good way to get them to stick around.
This FT, you guys, let me explain to you why you're wrong. Pure jiu-jitsu is not the worst base in MMA. Pure wrestling is the worst base in MMA. And
it depends on what you mean. Are you talking about pure wrestling without developing BJJ? Or do you mean the Justin Gaethje way of doing it, of just having wrestling and zero BJJ? Because if you have to pick one or the other, I'd rather have BJJ, yes. But you develop both those skills with time, right? But for most fighters, it is harder to learn how to become a high-level wrestler compared to becoming a high-level BJJ artist. Most fighters learn the BJJ quicker and easier, in my opinion.
There's no question about that. There is no fucking question about that. Crone Gracie, all he had was jiu-jitsu. Literally, that's all he had. He literally knew no other martial art other than pure jiu-jitsu. He fought the 13th best featherweight in the world at the time in Bryce Mitchell. And he literally threatened him with an armbar. That actually happened. He literally got to the armbar position.
Wow, he threatened with an armbar. And then what happened? Bryce Mitchell slammed him and knocked him out.
Threatened it, and Bryce Mitchell had to actually really work to escape that position. And obviously, look, no martial art all by itself is going to work.
No,
obviously.
I agree with this. Yes. You can't be a pure specialist anymore. It doesn't work. You have to be super well-rounded. I agree.
Can you imagine Just flip-flop it. The literal only thing Crone Gracie had is wrestling. That's the only thing he had. What? What is he going to do to Bryce Mitchell if all he had was wrestling? That is the most insane thing ever. The very first takedown he shot, boom, he's going to get fucking guillotined. Even if he does hit the takedown, he wouldn't be able to do literally fucking anything with it.
No, I agree, but that's not the conversation. The conversation is everything involved with your base being wrestling, but improving striking and your jiu-jitsu along the way. Obviously, you don't get to the UFC just by having American-style wrestling. But that's not the discussion. We're talking about having a wrestling base to accommodate your other attributes.
You know what I mean? That's insane. Like, you literally cannot score. The way MMA is set up, you cannot score with pure wrestling. Obviously, you need wrestling skills, but your athleticism is what is so important when it comes to actually, like, learning all the different aspects of mixed martial arts, because...
And see, this guy, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Down here, Chi, don't act like people don't win by stalling. Not only that, but wrestlers can control the... If you're a wrestler and you're really good at maintaining top control on a guy, you're gonna win fights by default 99% of the time.
Pure wrestling match is a very small aspect of an MMA fight, all right? Again,
they're all small parts that make up a bigger picture of an MMA fight.
George St. Pierre never wrestled, became a phenomenal wrestler because he's an amazing athlete. Even fucking someone like Alexander Gustafsson never wrestled, but has taken down John Jones in DC. I mean, again, you have to learn wrestling skills, but you do not need to come from a wrestling background to do that.
If I was in my prime, probably Pereira would be the guy I'd want to fight because he's the biggest star. You want to fight the biggest star. You want to make the most money as a champion, but there's no wrestlers.
I know, but isn't it so? Yeah, there's no wrestlers because they're not getting there, dude. There are no wrestlers because they're...
Okay, then what about John Jones, for instance, right? John Jones is not like a traditional style, like DC type of wrestler, right? But he's got really good trips from the clinch. He's not so much of like a single leg and a double leg artist, but he's more of like trip you out from the clinch type deal. Like, would that work? Like, I don't understand the point. The problem is that these fighters don't have to defend takedowns from the likes of DC and John Jones. That's reality. Or even Alexander Gustafsson. That's the whole point.
Not rising the rankings anymore.
Like, we saw Jan Blachowicz, right, have a field day in the wrestling, especially in that first round, with Alex Pereira. What did Alexander Gustafsson do to Jan Blachowicz in the wrestling, right? I'm not talking about styles. I'm just talking about purely wrestling. He manhandled him by just wrestling alone. The light heavyweight division's wrestling skill has regressed so much, man. Like, it's insane. DC would be having a field day with these guys.
For a fucking reason.
The top five when I was fighting. It was me, Jones, Ryan Bader was an All-American, Phil Davis, a national champion, Rashad Evans was an NCAA All-American. We had so many wrestlers. Now there's no wrestlers.
Dude, John Jones was a fucking Greco guy in fucking...
Yes, that was what I was getting at before.
In fucking community college, bro. Relax. And, Daniel Cormier, the Olympian, had a miserable time taking down John Jones.
Yeah, but John Jones is a different specimen kind of fighter. John Jones is like the only guy that gave DC severe problems in the wrestling. Like, did you see the way that DC was throwing around Stipe in that second fight? Did you see the way he picked him up and slammed him? Like, who else did he struggle in the wrestling with the exception of John Jones? Alexander Gustafsson? Prime Gus had amazing wrestling. Who? He didn't struggle against literally anybody. Josh Barnett? Did he struggle? Did he struggle against Dan Henderson? He didn't struggle against any of them.
Because MMA wrestling is very different than traditional wrestling. And just saying there are no wrestlers is kind of stupid because every single MMA fighter needs to work on and practice wrestling.
So it's like, yeah, we'll fight at light heavyweight, not heavyweight, unquote. So obviously he was...
DC could have, honestly, he would have had success with both, in my opinion.
Asked questions about if he was fighting today, how he would do against the current landscape, and which division would he prefer. Heavyweight would probably be better, bigger portions, but honestly, he'd dominate either, in my opinion. Both heavyweight and light heavyweight are...
I agree. I cannot wait to see what the Weasel says in response to this video. This should be interesting. Oh, okay. This is a little bit over the top, man. Let's relax.
How is he saying that? How?
Because he's better than them. DC's literally better than them.
How is he saying that? I can't. He's got to be playing a fucking character. He's got to be playing a fucking character. DC would dominate the heavyweight division right now.
Yes.
Have you ever watched a fucking Daniel Cormier fight before? Listen,
Yes.
Listen, the heavyweight division sucks. I understand that Daniel would...
And of course, like, Cheese Chat's going in, saying that the Weasel's a moron. I think the Weasel's right. I agree he would, right? Like, look at the way that DC was going to war with guys like Stipe, right? He knocked him on the first fight, second fight and third fight, whatever. The third fight, I'm not even going to really count. The second fight was pretty competitive until Stipe made an adjustment, whatever. But Stipe is the GOAT of heavyweight. John Jones is, in a lot of people's eyes, the greatest of all time. Outside of that, he barely ever struggled in his career. So what are we talking about here? Why are we acting like DC isn't an amazing fighter?
He'd still be absolutely...
He would not dominate Tom Aspinall. I think that Tom Aspinall, that would be an interesting fight, but I see what you mean. But even Tom Aspinall thinks that DC would be a nightmare stylistic matchup. Guys like him and Kane would absolutely be top 5 heavyweights, if not champions.
Absolutely an elite guy today. But dude, he's not... How can you watch him in his prime fight a post-leg break, week's notice Anderson Silva and not be able to do jack shit to him?
Because Anderson Silva has good enough defensive BJJ to not really be put in any sort of danger. DC's not really a BJJ kind of guy. He's more of a top control kind of guy. He kind of gets on top of you. Yeah, he'll throw some ground and pound, but he's not really a massive submission threat. So there was never really any threat of DC necessarily submitting Anderson. Anderson's a good enough grappler to hold his own.
Him on the ground to the extent that the referee had to stand Daniel Cormier up twice because Daniel Cormier had no ability outside of wet blanketing you on the ground.
That's because that's his style. He's a wrestler. He's not a pure BJJ guy.
And then get hurt with a body shot at the very end of the fight. How can you say that and then just go, yeah, he's going to dominate Tom Aspinall? I don't understand. I swear to God, it's that
if Anderson Silva... Wait, hold on. Tom Aspinall says that just about everyone, though, even Pereira. Okay. It doesn't change the fact that DC could absolutely give him a tough time. I can see how Tom Aspinall wins. I can even favor him to win. But don't act like it'd be an easy fight, right? If Anderson Silva has good enough defensive BJJ, Yuri Prochazka will be fine. Anderson Silva has better BJJ than Yuri. What are you talking about? I love DC, but Tom wins. Such a hot take, like flipping lava, that Aspinall beats all the top 5 heavyweights all time. DC, Stipe, Kane. I think he definitely beats Stipe just due to the footwork difference. I don't know if Aspinall, though, would beat DC and Kane, right? It really depends on how that first round goes. That first round's going to tell us everything. If Tom Aspinall's not able to land a flush shot on DC in that first round, I think DC wins, right? Honestly, in my opinion.
People, they have this false memory of Daniel Cormier that he was Khabib. They think that he was like...
Nobody's ever said that, bro. Relax.
The heavyweight version of Khabib. They think that, like...
No, people remember him as a wrestler and a lot of forward pressure. Because that's what he was.
He was just this marauder that was just fucking grinding you down all 5 rounds. He had the worst cardiovascular capacity out of fucking like any wrestler I've ever seen in my goddamn life. He literally had 2 takedown attempts on. That's all he had was 2 takedown attempts in a 5-round fight before he literally was done and he couldn't take you down anymore. But he would dominate the heavyweight division. The Weasel tells us.
I think you would. I think that you're over-exaggerating, because by the time that DC did finally go up to heavyweight, I don't think that was, like, prime DC. He was, like, towards the tail end of his prime, right? Let's be honest. Like, yes, DC's obviously overweight or whatever, but, like, in the light heavyweight division, did he ever, like... Was he really gassing out heavily in the light heavyweight division? Not so much. That was more so a heavyweight thing, because he had to carry more weight.
I just don't know. I don't know how you... I don't think he's watched Daniel Cormier fight. I don't think he's watched...
Okay, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Right, he's probably been watching longer than you.
He just has, like, this sort of vague recollection. People, they recollect to him...
Like, let me ask you this. In that second Stipe fight, right, did he gas out? No. The only reason why he started to get tired was because Stipe started ripping that left hook to the liver like 12 times. But before that, DC was not gassing out. It was doing very well, right? Everybody gets tired in there, right? But DC was a dog, whether you want to admit it or not.
Hitting that high crotch on Gustafsson, and like they just see that highlight and they just go, oh yeah, Daniel, bro, what a fucking marauder, man. That was the only takedown he hit on Gustafsson. He tried one more takedown at the start of round 2, did not even attempt another takedown on Gustafsson. Didn't even attempt.
Yeah, but you know what it was as well, though? Part of the other reason why he, didn't attempt as many takedowns, and he said this as much himself, it's because he feels like he's having a lot of success on the feet. And if you feel like you're having a lot of success on the feet, why would you even bother wasting the energy trying to shoot lots of takedowns, right? But I will give you this. Him not shooting a lot of takedowns kind of goes against the narrative of what DC's always preaching about, how wrestlers need to wrestle more. That does go against that narrative.
Another takedown. Let alone he had no ability to actually do anything to you on the ground. And what the fuck are we talking about? Thank you for the 2-1-2 number. I agree, pure jiu-jitsu is superior to pure wrestling, but Torres Finney did indeed win a fight with only takedown and control time, hardly a single strike. Well, if you're able to completely mute your opponent's offense, yeah, then sure. That's pretty hard to do at an elite level. But if you can take your opponent down, they literally can't do anything, then yeah, you're gonna win. But, again, even Alex Pereira, off getting taken down, he's scrambling, he's turtling.
Against Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is not a good wrestler, man. When has he ever displayed good wrestling? What, against Alex Pereira? Alex Pereira would absolutely get out-wrestled by DC. He 100% would. Now, is it possible Alex Pereira could land that big left hook and knock out DC? Sure. There's always that chance. But I don't know if DC would give him a chance. Because the thing is with other fighters compared to Pereira, those fighters are not kickboxing specialists. Or most of them don't even have comparable power to Alex Pereira. So it's a completely different comparison. Whereas if he's fighting Alex Pereira and he knows that one shot could put him out, in comparison to other fighters, he's going to be wrestling the whole fight. I guarantee you.
He's forcing Jan Blachowicz here to make a decision. Am I going to hold on to this ball?
Yeah, but Jan Blachowicz is not that great of a wrestler. He's a decent BJJ artist, but he's not a great wrestler at all, man. Not at all. Look at the way that Alexander Gustafsson just wrestled that guy. That's all he had to do to win that fight.
Body triangle, squeeze my legs around him and hold my entire body weight up for this entire round. Or am I going to let go of this and Alex is going to stand back up, right? Daniel Cormier, by the way, is never getting to this position.
I agree with that. I think that Jan Blachowicz might have better pure BJJ than DC. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say at all. But, I do think that DC is a better wrestler and might be able to control the top position better to where Alex can't get those scrambles in the first place. Possibly.
He does not have the all-around grappling skills to get to a position like this. Birdie, thank you for the 10 PLN. If Daniel put down the fork, he'd be a light heavyweight. I mean, he wrestled 185 in college.
I think that's a lightweight, not light heavyweight.
Definitely weaker than they used to be. This is just objectively.
Oh.
There's no debate on this.
Oh my God! Yes,
right.
What are you saying?
Honestly, he'd dominate either, in my opinion. Both heavyweight and light heavyweight are definitely weaker than they used to be.
They are. They are. That's true, right? I think that John Jones, Alexander Gustafsson, DC, Rumble Johnson, they would all do very well in the current light heavyweight division. They would. Stipe would do very well. Cain Velasquez, JDS, these guys would all do very well in their primes in the current heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions.
Objectively, there's no debate on this, okay?
How can you say that? You're telling me fucking Stipe Miocic, who literally all he had was boxing and pure wrestling, would beat fucking Tom Aspinall? Are you joking?
I'm not saying... Nobody's saying he'd beat Tom Aspinall. We're saying that they would still be top level in their division. They would still be top ranked fighters. No one's saying that those guys would automatically become champion. Nobody's saying that.
I mean, dude, Tom Aspinall's been doing jiu-jitsu since he was 8 years old. Take that away. And he still beats Stipe Miocic because he's taller, faster, way quicker, way more hand speed, way more power. Literally, the only things that fucking Stipe was good at, Tom crushes.
Weasel said dominate. I think they would dominate most of the division, right? Stipe Miocic beats Cyril Gane, in my opinion, because he's a better wrestler. I think he can take him down. DC beats Cyril Gane too, right? And outside of Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall, who else is there in the heavyweight division that's a severe threat, right? I think Stipe would beat Sergey Pavlovich. I think he's a better boxer, right? I think that Cain Velasquez would beat most of the division. I think JDS would probably beat most of the division as well. Fabricio Verdum. The heavyweight, light heavyweight divisions really haven't progressed that much. In fact, to some extent, have gotten worse. Jamal Hill was champion not that long ago. What are we talking about?
On top of that, Tom's been fucking doing jiu-jitsu since he was 8 years old. How is there no debate? This is insane.
But let's look at the rankings. Is Daniel Cormier actually correct that there are no wrestlers, and does it actually make a difference? So Alex is the champion, and he's certainly not a wrestler. Yuri Prohaska is not a wrestler. He can shoot takedowns like he took down Glover Teixeira, which was quite impressive.
See, I love it, and here's the thing that I love about this, is that, like, he goes, Yuri Prohaska is not a wrestler.
Well, he's
now,
not.
he can shoot takedowns. He did take down a very good grappler in MMA.
A very good grappler in MMA, not a very good wrestler in MMA. There's a difference.
But he's not a wrestler. It's like, can you imagine? Like, imagine
Yuri Prohaska's not a wrestler. He's not.
taking a UFC fighter who has, like, you know, multiple wins by submission. Imagine taking a UFC fighter that submitted a really good grappler and going, he's not a jiu-jitsu guy, moving on. I'm like, are you accomplishing takedowns in MMA?
Yes, but Yuri's not a wrestler. DC is a better wrestler. Magomed Ankalaev is a better wrestler. These are facts. Yuri's not a wrestler. He does not predominantly shoot takedowns.
Okay, then you know how to wrestle in MMA.
Ankalaev, and he can wrestle, but I wouldn't categorize him as a wrestler.
So he can wrestle, but I wouldn't. Okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm being rage baited here at this point.
Thank you.
But
like, imagine looking at all of the best fighters in the world right now, and like
all of these guys in the division have a capability to a certain point to wrestle, but that doesn't make them wrestlers, right? They are not Khamzat Chimaev. They are not Islam Makhachev. They are not the top level wrestlers. They can wrestle to a certain degree because you have to be able to, but they're not wrestlers. There's a difference.
And not kind of thinking to yourself like, well, none of these guys are wrestlers. I mean, maybe they're not rising the rankings.
Johnny Walker is a striker. Nikita Krylov is probably the most well-rounded guy, but
Nikita Krylov is probably the most well-rounded guy. Well, he's ranked number 13 for a fucking reason.
Yeah, Daniel Cormier is somewhat correct. There really isn't a wrestler that necessarily impresses anybody.
I mean, Daniel Cormier is correct in the literal sense. Nobody actually, like, wrestled in a high level prior to joining MMA. Listen, again, right, you look at somebody like fucking, what's his name? Gable Stevenson. Yeah. That dude is a fucking generational athlete, you know? And that is what's so important when it comes to transferring over to MMA. Bo Nickel, who wrestled to a level probably 1,000,000 times higher than Khamzat has ever wrestled in his life. Khamzat is obviously had so much more success, so much faster, because he's such a good athlete, you know? Khamzat is a really good athlete, which has allowed him to pick up all the other skills of MMA. Whereas Bo Nickel's not the same level athlete Khamzat is.
The wrestling is just not up to par, man. DC and his era were much more well-rounded, and they predate.
It's true.
Were they?
Yes.
Alexander Gustafsson got submitted by Anthony fucking Lyon.
That was not a prime Gus. You know damn well that was not a prime Gus. That was a Gus with 1 foot out the door. He hasn't been in his prime since probably roughly around the DC fight, maybe a little bit after. But let's be honest, like, that was not a prime Gus at all. And that was a prime Anthony Smith, or at least close to it.
And Hart Smith, but okay, I guess.
It really goes to prove that the evolution does not always follow time progression. Sometimes they hit the dark ages where the
Look at this position! You will never find Daniel Cormier in a position like this, because Jan Blachowicz is a really good grappler. Listen, he's awful off of his back because he's such a fridge, but look at this, this is really tough. And look at Pereira maintaining this turtle position through the body triangle. Like, Pereira, he knows what he's doing here. He's trying to burn out Jan Blachowicz's legs from this position, and that's exactly what he did. Jan Blachowicz from this position had two options. Either let go of the body triangle and, you know, save my legs, and Pereira's gonna get up if I do that. Or I hold on to this position and I try to submit him. He tried to submit him, honestly had a really deep rear naked choke that Pereira defended very well, and then his legs were gone because this position is so fucking fatiguing.
The champion's Daniel Cormier, who was an excellent wrestler, very well-rounded.
He was not very well-rounded. He was not very well-rounded. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard anyone say.
Okay, let's relax a little bit. You're getting a little bit heated. DC was a great wrestler with good dirty boxing, good leg kicks actually whenever he chose to use them, good decent enough top control on the ground. Not the best BJJ to go with it, but decent enough top control. He was well-rounded for his division.
In my fucking life. Yeah, he hasn't watched Daniel Cormier fight. Daniel Cormier,
Yes,
very
he has,
good
bro.
wrestling, good boxing. Practically zero jiu-jitsu and zero striking defense. I mean, listen, 2 seconds of film study shows you that he was practically incapable of defending kicks correctly, especially off the left leg. Yet, John Jones took advantage of it, but Alex Pereira, I mean, he did this, but I mean, he just wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but I don't know if Pereira would want to throw that kick because he might be worried about the takedowns. John Jones wasn't nearly as worried about the takedowns.
Do that to Daniel Cormier, even though this kicking defense is awful. Anthony Johnson, I mean, just fucking look at when Anthony Johnson fought Daniel Cormier. It was the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. Ryan Bader. Home in St. Peru.
The thing is with these divisions, back then and now, is that they're both very top-heavy for the most part. Like, you'll have your champion, and, like, the top 3 are competent, and then there's a massive drop-off at, like, number 4 and number 5. It's the same thing now, with both light heavyweight and heavyweight.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Anthony Johnson. Then there's Alexander Gustafsson.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Anthony Johnson, and then just rushes right past that. It's like, yeah, don't mention that time that Anthony Johnson fought Daniel Cormier with the most god-awful approach I've ever seen anyone fight in my life.
That was also Rumble Johnson 1 foot out the door. I feel like you're cherry-picking arguments to make yourself look better.
Literally overthrowing on right hands and falling down.
You talking about that one? That's because he had DC rocked. Yes, I agree. He got overzealous, but it's because he had DC rocked. It wasn't like he just did it for no reason.
Takedowns. Yeah.
How's it going, Constantinos?
Even though Gustafsson is a boxer, he is better than every wrestler of the current generation. I mean, he was taking down John Jones at DC, you know. Then there's Ryan Bader, who was a decent wrestler. Glover Teixeira. And
Alexander Gustafsson was a good wrestler. The thing is, though, if you're talking about today's MMA,
Yeah, he
both
is.
of these examples he just showed, John Jones and DC popped right back up. So, like, he didn't actually...
Yeah, but those are also some of the best wrestlers of their time. And didn't you mention earlier about Gus was taking down DC and John Jones? You literally mentioned it earlier yourself.
Score at all. He didn't actually accomplish any actual score.
Okay, then Gus didn't accomplish anything then by taking down Jones and DC. Hear your own logic?
Within MMA. He went through that...
Yes, it's about the whole Poetan versus DC. Like, MMA Chi disagrees with the fact that the Weasel thinks that DC would basically be a dominant force, or at the very least, extremely competitive at light heavyweight and heavyweight today, and thinks that the division has regressed. MMA Chi disagrees. That's what we're watching.
Last fucking, like, the current rankings, he went, well, none of these guys are wrestlers. Like, they're just not. So, like, obviously the older generation will win. But then he goes, Gustafsson, who never wrestled, became a good wrestler. Yeah, because MMA wrestling has nothing to, it has very little to do with a pure wrestling background.
Rashad Evans' career.
It's true, but also, I think Gus also spent a lot of time training with guys like Phil Davis, who was known to be a good wrestler, right? Really helped train his takedown defense, really helped improve it, and that's how we saw it look so good in the John Jones fight and in the Alexander Gustafsson, or in the DC fight, excuse me.
Russell is very fast with his hands, but not the most technical striker.
So you hear this, though. All of these wrestlers, really high-level wrestlers, but their striking kind of sucked. You have to use your striking to set up takedowns in MMA. You have to. That's the problem.
Yeah, but DC uses dirty boxing to set up those takedowns. He doesn't just... No. He's bop, 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 in on the legs. Like, it's not... I don't get it.
When you're having a wrestling match with somebody and you come out on the mats and you're in this position right here, you know what I mean? The way you set up takedowns is a completely different universe than when you're in an MMA fight and guys can back up, they can move away, they can land uppercuts, they can land knees.
It's different, yes, but it's a similar concept that you have to set up the shots.
You need to actually use your striking to get in on takedowns, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But when you have these guys who are not good strikers, but good, again, they were fighting back during a time.
What's up, Abstracts? Hope you're having a good night.
Where a lot of guys just didn't really know how to wrestle at all. You know what I mean? At least not to any decent level. So you didn't have to set up your takedown. All you had to do was just grab them. Like that's Ben Askren's entire career was just grabbing them, you know? And as soon as I grabbed you, it didn't matter how shitty of a shot it was.
But like I said, I'd also argue guys like DC could set up shots really well with the dirty boxing.
As long as I've got you, I'm going to take you down. But in today's MMA, everybody is so well-rounded, you have to set up the shot. But if you can't strike, you can't set up the shot. So,
You make it sound like DC has Ben Askren level striking. Not true.
how do you not know that, dude? This is making me more sad than angry now.
If potentially the best wrestler today had a tough time wrestling with Jan Blachowicz, he wasn't getting a lot of takedowns. Unlike Gustafsson, Gus shot 5 times and got 4 of those.
Well, let's see the fucking takedowns, dude. Let's take a look at the takedowns.
Okay.
Because he didn't even try to start shooting until literally both of his legs were completely...
Which also only worsens your own argument because Jan Blachowicz is not a good wrestler, but he's considered one of the better wrestlers in the division. You are worsening your own argument here, right? Jan Blachowicz's takedown defense is abysmal. What would DC do to Jan? What would John Jones do to Jan?
Fucked. And he still, dude, that fucking double leg where he picked up Jan Blachowicz in the air and fucking dumped him with 2 of his legs being fucked. I mean, you know, like let's show us the goddamn takedowns then. Like, explain to me. Tyron McGregor, thank you for the $5. Gus is a boxer who got good at wrestling. Disproved his entire point about strikers today not having good wrestling. But
most of the fighters in these divisions don't develop the wrestling to the level that Gus did.
Being good enough. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. When he was going through today's current rankings, he's like, well...
DC's striking defense would almost definitely get him caught against Yuri, who is incredibly hard to hit and constantly out of range. I would argue that DC would be able to wrestle Yuri relatively easier than some of the other light heavyweights. Especially, like, I understand, like, Yuri having his hands low could potentially make it harder. I will concede that. What I will say is that Yuri was getting taken down and controlled by Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is not a wrestler on the level of DC. At the end of the day, this is all speculation, right, by the way? This is all, like, MMA math, so it doesn't necessarily apply because certain fighters wrestle differently than others. So I get the argument, but I do think that DC would be able to take down Yuri. 100%. The only thing I'm scared of in DC versus Pereira is DC striking, boxing, defense. Yeah, it's possible he could get caught. It is possible. But, like, DC got caught by Rumble Johnson and didn't get knocked out. Now, Pereira's a much better striker than Rumble. So, I'm just talking about it in terms of power, that DC did have a good chin. Obviously, no one has a good chin when you fight Pereira, though. So, yes, he has to be perfect for the entire fight. But I would predict that DC will be able to take down and control Pereira at will.
This guy's not a wrestler. This guy shoots a lot of takedowns but didn't wrestle. He goes, well, this guy never wrestled but developed really good wrestling. So he counts, but all these current guys don't count.
Because they don't wrestle as well as Gus.
I'm like, no. You're so close, Weasel. Just follow this logic, man.
Jan got dragged around that octagon by Gustafsson and submitted easily by Ancient Glover.
Listen, in fairness, right, he called him ancient when he was 40 and he won, even though Jan Blachowicz was like 38, 39.
They both hit their primes late.
Because in his prime, he was fighting Jones and Gus and Rumble. Out of his prime, with those guys out of the way, he was a champion, top contender, and all of that. The only guy
but he was still a top contender back then too, dude.
Yeah, but he didn't become champion.
If he had fought Jamal Hill instead of Jan Blachowicz, who Jan Blachowicz is the worst matchup for him possibly stylistically, well, now this whole point just doesn't make any sense.
Both heavyweight and light heavyweight.
Why? Elaborate.
Are definitely weaker than they used to be. This is just objectively. There's no debate on this. Okay?
I feel like he's got to be playing a fucking character. I think
you're playing a character.
He's rage baiting us.
No, he's not rage baiting. No. What? No.
Rage baiting me in particular.
We saw him fight Rumble and take Rumble's best shots. Blast him across the octagon with one right hand, land it flush with his shin to the face twice. I don't know if he hits harder than Alex, but it's comparable, right? Like, he's the only guy that can hit around that same caliber. And he...
So, let me explain striking to the Weasel. There is a very big difference between having a lot of power and being a knockout artist. Do you see
Rumble was a knockout artist. He knocked out Gus, with one shot? He knocked out Glover, one shot. He was a knockout artist.
Where this punch is landing, this is not a knockout spot. It's not. The 2 knockout spots.
Yes, I agree. I already know what he's going to say. He's going to say Pereira's got more precision. He's a more precise striker. He can land it on the button to land the knockout shot, whereas Rumble's just more power than anything else, not so much precision. Fair enough, but it still goes to show that DC has a good chin. That is the entire point.
Primarily, right? It's going to be on the chin, and it's going to be behind the ear. Those are the 2 spots that are like buttons that put you to sleep. A lot of it can be dependent on whether or not you're moving into the shot. Obviously, right? You look at Johnny Walker versus Jamal Hill. Johnny Walker throws the overhand, and Jamal Hill literally runs into it. But
Yeah.
just look at where that's landing, right?
Right on the cheek, like right here, right? Right on the cheek, right up here. It can still cause major damage, even if it's not a knockout shot.
Compare that to Alex Pereira, that LFA clip, right? Where he just sneaks the hook in right on the chin and just pop, drops the guy. Now, obviously, right, that guy in the LFA was a 185er. Up at 205, Alex Pereira lands a fully uncorked overhand on Ankalaev, a shot with way more power. But Ankalaev didn't get put to sleep. Why? Because it landed up here. It wasn't not a knockout shot. The absolute colossal difference between
Temple shot could be a knockout shot. What do you want about?
Rumble Johnson and Alex Pereira is Alex Pereira's accuracy and his timing. You cannot just bring up pure horsepower and try to equate the two. You cannot.
You can equate it to the fact that DC can take a shot.
Do it. It is asinine. Alex is so much better at setting up his shots, and he is so much more accurate than Rumble Johnson, who in that Daniel Cormier fight was shitting the bed and swinging wild overhands and hooks with no setup. You know what? Let's see if the Weasel actually, maybe he mentions this.
He had DC with everything he had, and still was not enough to put him away. He's not easy to KO, even if Alex landed clean. Now, that's a big if.
Okay. So he didn't say anything.
He did. I'm getting rage baited by MMA Chi. Who thinks he's being rage baited by the Weasel? This is ridiculous.
How do you bring up this fight right here and not even fucking mention what happened in this fucking fight? I will enlighten the masses on this one. Don't you guys even fucking worry.
Got him to tap. Why? Well, I'll break it down for you. Essentially, Rumble Johnson was shitting the bed so bad in this fight. The very first sequence in this fight, they end up on the ground, which was like 20 seconds in. He overthrows so bad that he falls over and then ends up on the bottom. Aside from that, it's just him swinging random haymakers, no setup, no accuracy, no distance management, running into takedown attempts. He was gassed about 9 minutes into the fight. He was done, and he kind of gave up here. This is sort of akin to when Amanda Nunes tapped Juliana Pena with another really shitty choke attempt because they just gave up.
I mean, honestly, dude, it is it is borderline.
What does that have? The Weasel literally said that there's a big if that Pereira could land that shot. Land the knockout blow. Why did you say he didn't mention it when he literally did? I don't get it.
Malicious for the Weasel to bring up this fight as a phenomenal example to why Alex can't beat Rumble. And
What? He didn't say Alex couldn't beat Rumble. What? Are we watching the same video? We're talking about Rumble, or we're talking about DC versus Pereira.
He went and collected these he went and collected these fucking screenshots. He must have watched this fight. This is the worst performance I've ever seen anybody have. This is worse than Gaethje's fight against Khabib. It was all just overthrowing and falling over, ending up on the bottom. And he still cracked him. With no setup, no rhyme or reason to any shot, he still cracked him.
Look how much, this guy's chat, by the way, this is what's bothering me more than anything. This guy's chat literally just, what do you call it? Just literally repeat what he says. No thought for themselves, no discussions, literally just, Weasel's on the same level as MMA Joey. His editor collected the screenshots. Weasel also said Volk lost the first Islam fight when everyone knows Volk won 3-2. He has the worst takes. This guy's chat is filled with NPCs. I swear.
I don't even think DC would give him a chance because, unlike DC's other opponents, Alex is the only one who can't wrestle.
Oh, he can't wrestle. What do you mean he can't wrestle? Magomed
Ankalaev's not a wrestler. He is, he's considered the best wrestler in the light heavyweight division? But that doesn't make him a good wrestler.
Was beating him to the hips on so many double legs, and he defended every single one.
But Magomed Ankalaev's not a wrestler.
There's no.
Stipe and even Rumble could wrestle. It was almost
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can wrestle, if you're overthrowing on right hands. Rumble was jumping into right hands and running into takedowns. I don't care if you wrestled in college, if you're going to be giving up your hips that fucking easily. I think he has to be playing a character.
It's not the same today. Today, you could just be a striker and make it very far. DC was hitting...
You can. Alex Pereira is a striker. I don't understand what he's getting so mad about. August is a decent striker that has decent wrestling. Decent is a stretch, even though. Decent is a stretch. Who is he displayed high-level wrestling against?
He has to be playing a character. This is not a real human being saying
I don't think you're a real human being, actually. Like, come on.
This isn't real, guys. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. How? And he's just showing that one sequence of the Gustafsson fight. How
He's just showing screenshots. Okay.
DC was hitting this on those guys, man. Flipping Gus like a pancake. Single leg tripping Rumble off the fence. There is not a single light heavy today.
But then show us what happened the other 4 rounds of the Gustafsson fight. That was the only...
Yes, but there's a difference, though, because Gus doesn't have the power of someone like Pereira. So the threat's not as imminent, right? Like, it's not like he feels as threatened on the feet with Gus as he would against someone like Poeton. It's a massive difference.
Takedown he hit in a 5-round fight. This is all he had, that whole 5-round fight. He literally didn't take him down again. He struck with Alexander Gustafsson 4 rounds of that fight. And Gustafsson got back.
You cannot be just a striker and make it today. Alex had to work on his grappling to cut it at the top level. Yeah, but his grappling's not top level, though. It's not, right? If he was in a division filled with competent wrestlers, bro, if he was in, like, the bantamweight division, he would get wrestled dominantly, right? Who are the Dagestanis that beat the Dagestani wrestler take? What? What? Am I confused?
Up after this takedown, by the way. He stood back up because Daniel can't submit you or take your back. Even Anthony Smith took...
Out of prime, Gus. Quit using, this weird... You're using this weird context to suit your argument. You're really cherry-picking stuff very well.
...his back and submitted him. This is lunacy.
And DC also had legit submissions as well.
Ow!
Okay, fair enough. If I'm not even going to say anything on this. I don't think... DC had a decent rear naked choke. That's about it.
No! Don't say that and show us this photo! Oh my god, this is the worst rear naked choke I've ever seen in my fucking life!
Why?
You can't do this! He can't keep getting away with this! He can't keep getting away with this! This is the worst submission. This is the least technical rear naked choke.
Alex only has great takedown and submission defense. Based off what? Who has he fought where you could say, this guy's takedown defense is great? I'll give it to you when I say Pereira's takedown defense has improved, right? He defended every takedown from Ankalaev, but Ankalaev's not a super high-level wrestler. Defended submissions off Jan Blachowicz, okay? I don't think DC would submit Alex Pereira. I think he would control him on the ground. I think he would absolutely out-wrestle him.
I've ever seen anybody hit, ever. Look, what is this hand doing? It's not even behind his head.
It's making its way under the chin. What are you talking about?
I want you just to stare at it. Yeah, like, what is this? That's not good. It's not a good attempt.
You know, Alex Pereira fought like real jiu-jitsu black belts who blow Daniel Cormier out of the water on the ground. You know, he was able to survive
in pure jiu-jitsu, right? But we're talking about wrestling and jiu-jitsu combined.
This legit rear naked choke attempt with a really good body triangle. And if any...
Is it because John and DC were the pinnacle of the light heavyweight division due to their strong wrestling background? Most of the other great fighters in the light heavyweight division back then were primarily strikers. Well, that's not true. Gus can do it all, right? The only thing he didn't really have was, like, submission offense for the most part, right? Rumble was, like, an okay wrestler. You know, there was guys like Rashad Evans and Ryan Bader. Not anything amazing. But more so today, it's actually filled with primarily strikers. Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev is primarily a striker. Jan Blachowicz is pretty much a striker, especially these days. You know, you get guys like Khalil Roundtree, Yuri Prohaska. These guys are strikers.
But he says that Alex was just too big. This guy wasn't too big, though. Or him. DC is potentially the worst matchup for Alex Pereira out of any of those guys in the past. I think Alex wouldn't really get too many hits in there before he gets submitted. It's not just...
I don't know about getting submitted, though. That is one thing I will say. I don't know if he gets submitted.
He gets submitted? Are you joking? No! What? Huh? Oh, I can't do it, you guys. This is insane.
It's possible.
This is insane.
It's possible, but I don't think it's likely.
No, we can't. No. Who are you? No. Oh. Please tell me he's playing a fucking character. This is so bad. DC's choking out a gassed Rumble with like this.
Okay, but let me ask you this though, because this is something to consider as well. Like, how do we know that Pereira himself wouldn't gas out? He historically doesn't gas out, but he was slowing down against Izzy, and you know why? He was slowing down against Izzy because Izzy was grappling him, right? Pereira has not grappled for as long as DC, even at that time. It is possible that Pereira would eventually start to slow down from having to carry DC's weight. It is possible to where he could eventually get submitted.
What do you mean he has?
He's acting as if it's something completely outrageous. For all we know, like, DC could absolutely ground and pound Pereira in a position where he puts himself into a position to where DC could submit him. The ground and pound's a factor here, too, that I think we have to consider.
Legit subs. What do you mean? He doesn't. And he's not actually explaining anything. Like, the Weasel needs to I can't do this, guys. I can't do this.
Oh, Muffin. I feel so sorry for you. Do you want to cook yourself? Like, man, the fuck
do
up.
it.
Alex wouldn't really get.
Can you imagine being the Weasel and making a whole ass video about Daniel Cormier versus Alex Pereira and not watching any Daniel Cormier fight?
I feel like this guy is definitely playing a character, low-key. I feel like he has to be. There's no way he isn't.
He hasn't.
Yuri Sub Glover, an exhausted and rocked. Or I wouldn't even say rocked. An exhausted Glover, though. Right? That guy was so out of it by that point in the fight. I will agree, it's a good look on Yuri. But that doesn't mean that Yuri would beat DC. Not at all.
Watched any Daniel Cormier.
That's Cope. Pereira didn't gas out. Was sick against Khalil. Was not gassing against Adesanya. He was the fresher fighter in the fifth, too. No, he wasn't. No, I'm not talking about gas. I'm not talking about the Khalil fight. I'm not even talking about that because that fight was at altitude. So I give fighters a bit more of a pass on that. I'm talking specifically the Izzy fight. He did not look more fresh against Izzy in that fifth round. No, he didn't. Izzy looked fine. He wasn't gassed out at all. He was literally, he got a leg kick checked, and he fell over and whatever, and got punched, and rocked, and TKO'd, but he wasn't gassed. There's nothing to suggest that.
Fight. He didn't like research anything for this video. If he did, if he sat there and watched all 5 rounds of the Gustafsson fight and he still had this opinion, then he has to be playing a character. He hasn't brought up fucking once. He shows all of these examples. Oh, Pereira's too big? Well, he flipped Gustafsson. He flipped Stipe Miocic. Those literally, both of those examples were the only time he took either of those guys down in a 5-round fight.
That's because he stopped trying to shoot. He was having success on the feet. So he just kept striking. And that ultimately was his downfall in that Stipe rematch. Right? But let's not act like DC wasn't having success in the striking. 68% significant striking accuracy. You're damn right he was having success on the feet.
Daniel Cormier would say this himself.
Even if you get a takedown, it's hard against the best guys. I picked Stipe up, I threw him down, held him down for the whole first round. And then he got up because we got to start again. So now I got to start that process all over again. And that's why Khabib Nurmagomedov was so special. Because it didn't matter how many times he had to restart the process. He went right back to doing that with his opponent.
So the Weasel thinks that Daniel Cormier's Khabib. DC himself is literally sitting here going, well, I would get the takedown.
And I said this before about this guy's chat already. If they didn't have MMA Cheese saying these things, I guarantee you a lot of their opinions would genuinely change.
Down, and then I would take him down, and then the round would reset, and then I'd have to do it all over again, and I couldn't do it.
Okay, buddy, you're acting a bit cringe here. You're acting a bit cringe at this point. Come on, let's stop it.
I couldn't do it. That is literally what he's saying right now. Yet, against Alex Pereira, DC wouldn't give him a chance. He would just be fucking grinding him down all 5 rounds. He would just be flipping him through the air every single second and just power double legs and slice him through his mount, guard to mount, and then fucking lay on the ground and pound, then throw in arm bars and triangles and fucking arm like, no. His lip is quivering mid that podcast. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean here.
And I know people are going to say that he's getting better and defended all of Uncle Live's takedowns, but
let me guess, Uncle Live didn't wrestle NCAA, so it literally...
No, but Uncle Live's not a wrestler. Not really. Not compared to DC. He's not.
Doesn't count.
Unk's takedown shots aren't great. He often
His takedown shots aren't great. Okay.
He doesn't chain wrestle well. His shot selection of techniques are very limited. He doesn't have DC's arsenal or strength. He doesn't have Gustafson's timing or Jones' versatility.
He doesn't have Gustafson's timing. Fuck out of here with these nothing burger fucking statements, dude.
Well, what have your statements been then? Nah, he's pissing me off, man.
You're clearly capable of showing us the individual screenshots of him going for these takedowns. But when you mention he doesn't have Gus's timing, show me the fucking timing then. Let's see it. I mean,
He probably means Gus's timing when he took down John Jones in DC.
Gus did have good wrestling, for sure. Show me the timing. Break it down for me. Because look, dude, the sequence you just showed, Ankalaev has completely beaten him to the hips right here. Hands are completely...
Not completely. Not completely. Alex Pereira, like, if the cage wasn't here, would most likely be able to hit a sprawl here. Look at the way his legs are planted.
Locked behind the butt. Alex has no underhooks. Not even really a sprawl. This is a very...
It's kind of a sprawl. Look at the way his legs are kind of arched back. You know, if you ever go to, like, dig your feet in, that's kind of the position Pereira's in here.
Very deep double leg that he could not finish.
he's getting
because
better,
frankly,
frankly,
was a lot stronger than him here. Pulls the lock over the hips. Show me, but like timing. Show me the timing. Because Ankh can't be any deeper on this shot than he currently is right here. Would Daniel Cormier take down Alex Pereira? Almost certainly. I think round one, he's going to get
Ankalaev is overrated grappling. Facts.
to Pereira's fucking hip, and he's going to flip him over his head. And then what's going to happen? He's going to try to wet blanket Pereira. He's not going to be able to do anything on the ground, and then round two is going to start. And he's got a good minute to get that takedown again. Maybe he takes him down again. I fucking guarantee you rounds 3, 4, and 5, he's not taking him down again.
He might. It depends on how Alex's cardio holds up, because he's not used to grappling over that long duration of period of time. Like, yes, he does it against Jan Blachowicz. Fair enough. That's one round. But what happens if DC gets it done again in the second and the third? As the fight starts to go on, is there a possibility that Alex Pereira just is not used to grappling for that long in a UFC octagon setting, right? It's a bit of a different thing compared to training.
I don't think he would even try. When Stipe was
I think he would try.
piecing him up on the feet in their second fight, he didn't make an attempt to take him down. He didn't make an attempt. He only had...
Why are we comparing Ank's wrestling to DC's wrestling? That's what I'm saying, man. It's not the same thing. Ankalaev is not nearly as good of a wrestler. The only reason why he's wrestling here is to mix up the game to keep Alex thinking.
As the takedown round one. And it's not even me telling you this. We just watched the clip of DC saying this himself.
He doesn't have DC's arsenal or strength. He doesn't have Gustafson's timing or Jones' versatility or Glover's persistence and strength. Like, it's great that he's
He
getting...
doesn't have Glover's persistence and strength. So, when Ankalaev with two busted legs picked up Jan Blachowicz...
Jan Blachowicz has terrible takedown defense.
Power double leg. Jan Blachowicz...
Yeah, see, this feels weird, right? On one end of the spectrum, you got the Weasel, who... Yes, I think MMA has a point that he's portraying DC, that the Weasel is portraying DC as like this unstoppable force in wrestling where nobody can stop his takedowns. But MMA Cheese acting like on this side of the spectrum that DC can't wrestle at all and will basically have no success against the likes of Pereira and Yuri. I think the answer is probably somewhere in the middle.
His legs were completely parallel with the ground, sideways. He picked him up and dumped him. Glover did not
Okay, Jan Blachowicz is also getting taken down by Alexander Rakic. Come on.
take down Jan Blachowicz like that, but he doesn't have the persistence and the strength, you guys. I mean, he's just saying shit. There's no, like,
I'd say
there's
you are
nothing
too. What?
technical about anything he said this whole fucking video.
better, but Ankalaev is not really a wrestler. He can shoot an okay takedown.
Yeah, he's not really, he didn't wrestle NCAA.
Nobody's saying that. He's just not a wrestler on the level of John Jones. He's not a wrestler on the level of someone like DC or Alexander Gustafsson. He's not, man.
He was doing Sambo since he was about 14. He was 17, he said. So he started doing Sambo at the age of 17. He's been grappling for 13, 14
Also, Ankalaev doesn't have great BJJ either. Like, when he's ever utilized high-level BJJ?
years now. And honestly, Sambo is a way more well-rounded grappling art than fucking wrestling, as we
True.
know.
That's true.
Right?
That's
The
true.
best fucking grapplers in the UFC right now are all fucking Sambo.
Turns out you could say a bunch of stuff like that, get 380,000 subs from that. Or maybe he has a reason for stating it, but he just tries to keep it simple for the casual audience. Is that a possibility?
Combo guys. But, you know, he's not really a wrestler, though.
DC has spoken, and he is correct. We got to see better wrestling from the light heavyweight division today.
Or maybe, how about some fucking wrestlers get good, all right? How about...
Okay. I think we've seen enough of this video. We've seen enough of this. We've had enough, all right? We've had enough of MMA cheating this crap. Oh, my gosh. Even Derek Lewis is better BJJ than Uncle Live. True. Okay. So, guys, we are finished getting rage baited by MMA Chi. No, you don't have to thank me yet. In fact, you're going to hate me here in about 2 minutes. I said this to you guys earlier, but in case you weren't here, earlier, I said to you guys, maybe you didn't show up yet to the stream, I watched the wrong MMA GOAT list yesterday. Remember the Kenny Oki video I watched? It turns out that was the wrong video. That was a bit of an older one, right? I knew it was 11 months old, but I thought that was his most recent GOAT list. Turns out I was wrong. He has a more recent one that came out right after Lucas Tracy's. So guess what? Oh, man, you guys are going to hate me. You guys are going to hate me. Oh my gosh. I just realized the light heavyweight today is maybe worse than the old light heavyweight. That's what I'm saying. And in some ways, right? I think that like the current top light heavyweights and some of the old top light heavyweights would make an amazing division. It would make it a lot more stacked. Guess what? You guys are going to love me. Oh, man. Exposing Lucas Tracy's terrible GOAT list plus the top 30 real fighters. We are not going to be watching all 30. We're going to be watching the 10. But I want to see these two beef for a little bit, all right? I want to see these two beef. This is what I've been longing for. I've been telling you guys I want to see the debate. Let's get it. Oh, crap. Desktop audio's off. Okay. Let's do it.
People think that they're like, oh no, like they think they're onto some shit with it. No, you're not. I think about this more than anyone. I have the best fucking GOAT list on the planet. Yeah,
Cap.
son. It's third best.
Cap. You put Armin Saryukin. Where is it? At what? Number 18, brother. 18! Armin! Over Fedor?
Everyone wants me to debate. Listen, I don't want to turn this entire thing into like, oh, that's debate, bro. Like, I just want.
Oh, they've debated before? Someone send me that link.
To hop on here to defend my takes. It's gonna turn into like the Kenny Lucas show debate type of thing. I know people want me to debate Kenny, but like, dude, here's the thing. Adesanya just has so many L's. He has so many L's.
Listen, guys, I don't care for the debate with Lucas. I saw you guys spamming his live, brother. I don't really care for the debate with Lucas. I just know what Lucas Tracy's intentions were when he dropped that GOAT list. I know what his
You think it was engagement and rage bait?
intentions were, and he got a reaction. Sometimes I don't like, like getting rage baited. I really don't like it, and I try not to show, like, get a little bit angry or whatever, but bro.
Lucas Tracy had the Peter Yan take 5 months early. I still don't have Peter Yan in my top 10, though. Not quite. I don't think so.
Lucas does it so well because when Lucas
Zoned is now the judge for Lucas versus Kenny. Hey, you know. Come on, I will moderate it. If they want me to, I will moderate it.
he's explaining his points, he sounds very genuine. Like, it almost sounds like he believes what he says, but this guy put people like Jan at number 9. He put Armin above Adesanya. Oh my God. Like, dude, he's smart for not debating me. And I'll be real, he's smart for 2 reasons. One, he knows in a debate that actually takes, like, actual IQ and intelligence. Lucas knows I'll cook him, and I like Lucas.
I know this is 5 months old. I'm a little bit late to this, but this is fun.
He's a cool guy.
There's the link. Where is it? Was it in the video?
He's just good at getting people, like, getting people talking. That's what.
Bedtime MMA tweets. Wait, I just want to make sure. Okay, that Lucas GOAT list actually got me dying, bro. Jan at 9 and Armin at 18. Jan at 9. I don't agree with it still even now, but that's more reasonable than Armin at 18, right? I don't know if it's rage bait or not. If he's
good
dead
at,
ass.
And yeah, he's just a funny guy, really. And in this video, I have my top 30 greatest UFC fighters ready for you guys.
Okay, now we're not gonna watch all 30. We're gonna skip down to the 10. Lucas Friedman in the debate, by the way, and he's saying all this. I didn't watch the debate, so I wouldn't know.
And I'm gonna show you guys my list. And listen, one thing I'm gonna back Lucas on is that no matter what, when you make a GOAT list, you're going to get negativity because everyone has a different opinion. There's never been a set GOAT list. Back in the day, it was like, yeah, man, GSP, fucking, Anderson Silva and DJ. If that's not your top 5, you're fucking, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like times have changed. And when times change, I change, brother. I have to adjust to times.
Okay, so I want to see if he gets to the criteria part of this. Okay, wait, there's more Lucas Tracy beef.
The time Islam beat Volk in the second fight because short notice. He kept making excuses for Volk and be like, Volk only lost to their number 1 GOAT of all time. That's the reason he put Islam number 1 and Volk number 2. And you got to think about it. You guys got to remember Charles and like Dustin, they're ahead of like people like Adesanya, like people who are like Figgy, like people who are like better. Like Dustin's not better than those guys. But he was putting Dustin and Charles and even Gaethje on the list. But these are people Islam has went against and beaten.
Glazing Islam wins, so Volk lost to him could be less significant. I don't know this. I don't watch Lucas Tracy. Is Lucas Tracy like a Volk glazer? Is that what it is?
Islam beating the Charles. Islam's beating the Dustins. So he's putting them on the list.
Don't criticize too much because you put Diego Lopez over Josh. I mean, that was an oversight on my part. I literally look at the rankings, and for some reason when I looked, I didn't see Josh Emmett's name there, bro. I don't know why. I'm not very observant. I kind of skimp over stuff. I go too fast for my own good. Okay? But I can still criticize, even though I made a mistake. I admitted I made the mistake, at least. Right? Lucas Tracy won't admit he made a mistake. Kenny Oki, I don't know. But Lucas Tracy doesn't strike me as someone who will admit when he makes a mistake.
Higher than they should be, simply based on the fact. Because he knows it's going to make Volk's loss to Islam look better. That's why if you look at it and you see a lot of lightweights kind of high, Arman Sarukian, someone Islam Makhachev beat, people are like, why is Arman on this list? Why is Arman so high? Because Islam beat him, guys. Keep in mind, Islam beat him at like his debut. But Islam...
Lucas is the biggest Volk glazer on the platform. Okay, wow. Interesting. Like, I love Volk as much as the next person, but like the glaze, man. Some people overglaze Islam. I find a lot of people overglaze Volk, for instance. I try not to overglaze anybody. I try to keep it balanced. I try to like just say what I think on fighters. I don't necessarily try to like play favorites. I don't have one in mind.
So he's trying to say, look, Islam's beating these guys who are all in the top fucking 30. So Volkanovski losing to someone who beats everyone in the top. It's not a big deal. The whole thing was a pyramid scheme to get Volk up there, and I solved you. And I was going to say it if we debated, so brother, you dodged a bullet. Now, everyone who has common sense is going to look back at your list and be like, wait, why is everyone that Islam fought like so high on the list, like higher than they should be? Like, why is Armin there? Why is
it to make Islam look better, or is it to make Volk look better in comparison because he also lost to him? Is that what Kenny's trying to say here?
It's because it makes Volk look better in turn, so we can look at the Volk loss to Islam and be like, well, that wasn't that bad of a loss. Simply, I had to expose that. Just so people know, It wasn't a genuine list. It was just a rage-baiting list to make Volk get his flowers that Lucas Tracy wants to.
I mean, Volk, with or without the Islam fights, can get his flowers. I still have Volk top 5 all time. Like, we don't need to, like, maneuver your list to make, to put Islam at the top to make Volk look better to get Volk his flowers. He gets his flowers regardless of that Islam fight or both the Islam fights.
That being said, guys, list.
Okay. Top 30 fighters of all time. And people forget, man, Islam almost submitted Volk. But, I mean, I know you're mocking people who say that, but let's be honest, he didn't. Okay. So we're starting off at the 10. Okay. He put Merab at number 11. So this should be interesting. Let's get it.
But who's the number 10 spot? Israel
Adesanya. I don't know about that. I have Izzy around 12 to 15, 11 to 14, somewhere in there.
Adesanya. Yeah, he fell a couple spots. I had like number 6, 7. I think 7.
Okay, I'll stop.
Or something. But it's okay. And I understand Lucas has a big fan base, and I understand people who don't like Adesanya. I understand that it's the norm to just hate on him because you guys don't like him. But
is he over Merab? I know, it's insane. I have Merab. Where do I have Merab? Top 6? I have him inside the top 10 for sure.
You don't have to like him to understand facts. Alex Pereira is better than everyone on Merab's resume.
You think?
No, can't not.
No, not. Well, in terms of skill, no, Petr Yan is better. In terms of like top 10 legacy, Jose Aldo, but that was also kind of a washed Jose Aldo. Not washed, but out of prime Jose Aldo. So I see your point, but I think Merab has fought more notable wins, got more notable competition than Pereira.
Nah, Kenny, Sugar Sean's better than Pereira. Sugar Sean's a double champ in my head. Nah, Kenny, Umar's had done more in his career than Pereira. Nah, man,
Nobody's saying that.
more in his career. Nah, man, Cejudo post-retirement was better than Pereira. You guys got to understand, Israel Adesanya.
Like, great, that Pereira win's great, but like Robert Whittaker twice is fantastic, but like Marvin Vettori twice. Paulo Costa at the time was a great win. Jared Cannonier's it's a good win. Kelvin Gastelum at the time was a pretty great win. Derek Brunson was an okay win. It was a good win, but like Umar, Jan, Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen. I think this was before the Corey Sandhagen fight, but still.
Adesanya beating Alex Pereira, especially not just beating him, knocking him out in the second round. Brother, respect this guy. Respect him, you know. Whittaker beat him twice.
I also think, like, how people say that Lucas is a Volt Glazer, I would probably say that Kenny is kind of... He's a bit of like an Izzy, Kamaru Usman type of Glazer. I think he prefers the Nigerians and such. I think that's part of it. I think he's kind of a Glazer for those guys.
Knocked him out the first one brutally. Damn near 50-45 in the second fight. You know, arguably only lost 2 rounds. Maybe people say second and fifth, but he outstruck him every round. I understand people saying the takedowns might have won him a round or two, but you guys got to realize he took down Izzy. Izzy got back up and nothing else happened. He was low kicking the fuck out of him. You know, he would just get snapped back, his head snapped back with a jab. Doesn't matter. Look at the significant strike totals. You know, watch the fight back. You guys going to be like...
I don't think that numbers always tell the full story. And in accordance to damage, in a lot of those close rounds in the Whittaker rematch, I think the wrestling is what was the difference maker, because a lot of the striking didn't have much significant impact. That's what people would be thinking.
You're going to be surprised about how one-sided.
What all-time great wins do you think Merab has? I think Peter Yan should be considered an all-time great win. I think that's his only all-time great win, but I think that Sean O'Malley twice, elite, right? You got guys like Umar, elite. Corey Sandhagen, elite, right? Henry Cejudo, elite. Jose Aldo, elite, right? His resume is really good.
It actually looked, you know... Fuck, like Whittaker had no actual moments. You can't find any highlights from Whittaker outside of a takedown and Izzy getting back up 2 seconds later. I could actually find Izzy dropping this guy, low kicking him, making him fall and shit. You guys can't show me any highlights. I don't even want to argue it, because like when I argue it and I see someone defending Whittaker, like, yeah, he got outstruck and destroyed every fight, but he took him down for about one.
Okay. Let's skip forward a little bit.
Paulo Costa, when he was undefeated in the UFC, you know, I saw what's his name, Lucas. I think I said what's his name. I saw Lucas Tracy gassing up Whittaker for beating Romero. Oh my God, he beat Romero. Okay, so did Costa. Costa beat a prime Romero too, you know. And then right after that, you know, say Izzy had a weird fight with Romero, and guess what happened? Izzy fought Costa when he was undefeated in the UFC. Context of the
True. Okay, enough glaze. Let's move
better
on.
than Brunson. Brunson had success against DDP. He was flipping him over, slamming him. You know, won the first.
He's gonna go on
round
for a
easily.
little bit about this.
Very one-sided.
He is
Wasn't
an
as
Izzy
one-sided.
Glazer.
People try to make it out to be. Rewatch that fight, but Jan Blachowicz definitely won. Izzy not gain that weight appropriately. But we have to talk about Izzy for a good amount of time, because people like Lucas, their whole purpose in life is just to hate on people like Izzy for no reason.
I would say he glazes on Volk, you glaze on Izzy. It's kind of a similar concept.
Moving on from that, though, Adesanya is still a top 10. Let's get into the number 9 spot. Demetrius Johnson. He felt.
No. We can't be doing this. We cannot be doing stuff like this. DJ is number 2. Right? His resume here, I feel like it's missing some names. Adriano Moraes twice? Hello? I feel like it's missing someone else here too. What are we doing here, man?
A little bit
He also didn't lose to Ian McCall. He had a draw with him.
from my list, guys. Benavidez twice. That's great.
Yeah.
Borg. That's a good win. Cejudo, Dobson, Elliott. I can't really keep going, but I could glaze his championship medal. You know, championship medal. He lots of title defenses, and when he was at his prime, he was unstoppable. That's until Cejudo came. Cejudo beat him. That's probably the best person to actually beat Demetrius Johnson at his pinnacle. When Cruz beat him, it was more like Demetrius Johnson going up in weight.
Demetrius Johnson was just undersized for that fight. DJ was outstriking him.
Rather than anything else, you know, and then the Ian McCall fight, weird. The Brian Pickett fight, weird. Who cares?
Brian Pickett? Brad Pickett, bro.
A little bit younger days, so I don't really take too much from Demetrius Johnson, but I still got to respect him for
He had the draw with Ian McCall, though.
what he's done in his weight class and what he's done in his career, but I'd be lying if I said his resume isn't slowly starting to get worse as time goes along, unfortunately. But
That's because the flyweight division was also so new at the time.
Demetrius Johnson's still a GOAT, and I'm still going to honor him in the top 10, absolutely.
He's number 2.
In the number 8 spot, guys, we got...
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take a look at something here. Where did I put Volkanovski on my list? Just so you guys can get a little bit of context. I put Volk at number 3. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% correct. I put him at number 3. Number 8? What are we talking about here?
Alexander Volkanovski. This is an appropriate spot. Stop trying to gaslight people that Volkanovski is number 2 all time. Yeah,
He's number 3.
Volkanovski number 2 all time because I put Dustin Poirier number. Like, stop trying to make
This has nothing to do with the Islam glaze.
weights go really high.
I can put him at. I can see him number 3. I can see him number 4. I can see him number 5. If you put him lower than number 5, you're just hating.
So you can say Islam, who
I feel like this placement here was to rage bait Lucas. Oh, crap. That is what it has to be. He has to have been rage baiting Lucas Tracy there. He has to.
That's really not a great win in glaze. Same with Chad Mendes. Jose Aldo at that time, really not a crazy win in glaze.
It's not. It's a great win, but it's not an all-time great win at that time. Aldo was not in his prime.
My point being said is, a lot of Volk's other wins aren't crazy to glaze as much as a Max. And even Max himself, his best win's Justin Gaethje. But my point is, like, you have to emphasize
the first Jose Aldo fight.
Max 3 times, because if you can't really talk about Ortega too much or Yair because they're not as good. But I'll say this: at the time, Ortega was a mean green fighting machine or whatever. He was looking good, you know.
And so was Yair. Yair's like takedown defense like that really didn't get exposed. I guess it kind of did a bit against Max Holloway, but he probably didn't expect Max to shoot. And I gave Yair the benefit of the doubt at the time because he was kind of coming off a long layoff or whatever. But like, I wasn't going to be too harsh on him. But Yair at the time was a great win.
Threats and stuff, you know, but Volkanovski, he's still a great fighter. I still think he's a top 10, but I just hate when people emphasize the Max 3 times so much. Like, if Izzy beat Whittaker,
I do agree with this. I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you beat the same opponent 3 times, it has less value than beating 3 separate opponents that are around the same caliber, in my opinion. Because I've said this before, it could just come down to a favorable stylistic matchup.
Whittaker a 3rd time, chat. I'm sorry, you're beating up the same guy. Like, good job, Izzy. You know, beating Whittaker 3 another time, but
yeah,
I just don't care for it. That's my opinion.
I agree.
That might be a hot take. I don't know, but yeah, Poirier and Islam are the only ones who beat this fucking G, man. He's a dog. Look at his head, bro. He's bald, shining, strong. You know, maybe shoulders a little bit broad. I mean, in the number 7 spot though.
What are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? Who recommended me to watch this? I saw a comment. Someone asked me to watch this. They said it was worse than Lucas Tracy's. I didn't think that could possibly be true. Chat, what am I doing?
Trust me.
What am I spending my Thursday night doing here?
Losses? What's that? I'm the best. Trust me, I'm the best. You know, he doesn't have losses, and of course he has wins. Wins against Volk, not.
Yeah, okay, he beat Volk, Max, Charles. Fantastic wins. Then Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell. He's not top 10. He is top 15 at best.
Wins against Max, knockout. Wins against Charles, knockout. Wins against Emmett, 50-42. Wins against Bryce Mitchell, submission. The point about Ilia Topuria, you put him in front of anyone, guys, he's going to finish that person, you know. He's going to finish.
Finishes don't dictate your greatness status necessarily. Like, if it's like a tie-breaking thing, possibly. But even then,
to make them look like they shouldn't be in the ring with them. So I gotta acknowledge Ilia. I do think he's better than Volk all time. You know what I don't understand? Why the hell did Lucas not put Ilia ahead of Volk? Like, well, I guess my criteria is a little bit different than Lucas. I am valuing dominance. Like, Ilia is dominated. He dominated Charles bad. I can't lie. The victory against Max and Volk was dominant. It might have not been one-sided, but it was dominant in the sense
it wasn't dominant.
That it was almost inevitable for Ilia to find his timing and then beat him.
Yeah, but I would say Max only got caught because he made an error, not because Ilia made some great, adjustment. It was more Max making a footwork error. It was more he was switching stances and got caught. It wasn't because Ilia did something amazing.
Was he dominant against Bryce Mitchell? Yes. Ilia Topuria, though, in the number 6 spot.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm pretty sure I put Islam number 6. But this is before the JDM fight, right? I put Islam number 5. Yes. But I don't know if this is before or after the JDM fight. I don't know if I made that list before or after. But, like, yeah, Islam, I put him at number 5. So, he's harsher on Islam than I am. Go rag on him for being a freaking Islam hater, not me.
Islam Makhachev. I know, guys. I think I'm a bigger Islam Makhachev fan than Lucas Tracy, but unfortunately, I am more realistic than Lucas Tracy, and I'd be lying if I think this resume is the number one resume or situation in UFC
It's
history.
not.
Charles, great win. Volk twice, great win. Of course, a short notice fight or whatever. Who
He's a featherweight moving up on short notice. It's not a good look.
cares? Still knocked out Volk. Dustin Poirier, good win.
Old, 1 foot out the door, about to retire.
It was pretty dominant. I wouldn't say it's as dominant as I would like, but he dominated Dustin. Definitely dominated him. Dan Hooker.
Just watch his new GOAT list. There's a new GOAT list? No, there's not. Please. If there's a new GOAT list, well, then I'll just watch that.
And Volk twice, great win.
No.
Of course, a short-
I paused you. Kenny Oki GOAT list. Is it like a short or something? MMA Guru and Kenny Oki have a debate. Oh gosh. Wait, let me just do this. There is no way. Stop. MMA YouTube Awards, no. There it is. Okay, I found it. Why would... Okay, I'm going to watch this one now. I'm not going to watch that video anymore. There's no point. I'm going to watch the new one. Right here.
This might...
Why would you guys not tell me? I found it. Thank you so much for telling me. No. 3 weeks ago, the official top 15 UFC fighters of all time, no debate. Oh gosh, 3 weeks ago. Okay. So I'm giving 0 leeway on this one. Right? I watched a really old one that was almost a year old. Right? On this one, I'm giving 0 leeway. I'm going to be harsh as it gets. So let's take a look at the criteria. Okay, and then we're going to watch the top 10. So let's do this.
First criteria, I put Peter on here because first of all, bedtime I Peter on like at number 7. I don't even know what spot. Like he had him high though, goofy spot. But this is my premise: dominance is favored. So like wins are cool, chat. But I want to see how you're winning. Are you winning in decisive fashion? Are you winning in good manner? Or are you just going in there?
That shouldn't matter as much as who you beat, because the harder competition you face, the harder you get. The harder it's going to be to have that dominance. So you could say that therefore that means it's more valuable. But I feel like beating an all-time... I'd rather have an all-time great win on my resume than dominate worse people, if that makes sense.
Scraping off wins. Like, I want to know how you're winning, and I do think dominance is going to be favored. Second thing, I said name value on the resume matters. Like, I don't care if you have a 1,000-win streak against nobodies. That's going to hold less weight. Listen, it's not that I don't care. I just care less. So I do favor win streaks and stuff. But I'll favor a win streak with a more notable name value than
who and how you're losing, name value, dominance. Cool. So he puts Merab at number 12. Okay, well, let's go through the 15 quickly. 15, Francis Ngannou. Oh, gosh. 14, Anderson Silva. Okay. Henry Cejudo at number 13. Merab at number 12. So the Merab one actually got worse. Right? The Merab one actually got worse. And blames it on the overactivity. That's insane. You didn't even put the Corey Sandhagen win in here. And that's a better win than Marlon Moraes. What are we talking about? Number 11, he put Izzy. Okay. So number 10. Are we ready for the top 10 here, chat? Let's do this. I'm going to screech probably.
But these are legends, guys. Number 10, I got...
That other video that we just watched, where he put DJ at 9. I didn't think it could get worse, chat. I didn't think it could get worse!
Mighty Mouse. He's fell a little bit on my list because I did some thinking. Great fighter, by the way. 12 fight win streak, 11 defenses. You know, it might not be the craziest name value, but he does have Cejudo. Horiguchi, People who know. Horiguchi, brother. This guy good. Just coming off a win recently. Benavidez twice. Ray Borg, John Dodson. Those are some good names. Not like legendary names. It's like on paper, sure, you might be like Izzy, beating Pereira and Whitaker, and even you could even argue maybe Ken Nair and some of these other guys.
You know why I'm doing this right now, guys? You know why I'm holding my face like that? To try to hold in tears. I don't know who said, watch it, bro. I think you guys just enjoy seeing me angry. Like, one day there's going to be a montage of all the times I get angry watching stuff like this.
It might be better. I think Cejudo and Pereira win versus win. I think Pereira's higher than Cejudo, but it's still a really good win to compare. And then, of course, Whitaker's better than Horiguchi, but...
Benavidez twice, though. That's similar.
Mighty Mouse was still dominant. I feel like he was dominating these guys. He lost early in his career. He lost like 4 times, I believe, 4 or 5 times. He lost early in his career, and he lost to a prime Cejudo towards that last UFC fight, but... As far as UFC career, he's still number 10. If we're talking about just
DJ's number 2.
MMA, man, we could go into how good he was in one championship and all those wins there. But from a UFC GOAT list, I do think he's a top 10
UFC,
fighter of all time. He should be in your top 10.
Okay, then I won't mention the
top 10,
I won't mention the Adriano Moraes stuff then.
and that's a little sus to me at least. So he has fallen after doing some consideration, but I still think he's a top 10 UFC fighter of all time. Maybe even interchangeable with those under him. But we're gonna talk about those who are in front of him, and I'm gonna explain why they're in front of him. Starting with the number 9 spot, guys. Alex Pereira.
Okay. It's not awful. That's not an awful placement. I have him a little bit higher. I have him at number... Where did I put Pereira? Hold on. I put him at number 7. So not too much different there.
Wait. People are gonna be like, oh, Kenny has Pereira over Adesanya. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, because he's got more elite level wins.
Pereira over Adesanya. I Pereira over a lot of people, guys. He's a double champ, guys, with 3 title defenses, Mm-hmm. I'll say this. The Ankalaev fight did a lot for me personally. I think his win over Adesanya, great. 5th round comeback after being down. Then Ankalaev, the way he disposed of Ankalaev very well. Very quickly as well. Like, come on, guys. You don't dare that to Ankalaev. I know the injuries and asterisks are going to cope in the comments maybe. And look, guys, I'm Ankalaev supporter too, but I have to be real. This guy, he schooled us a little bit. Then he knocked out Sean Strickland. That's a great win in itself. He beat Jan, beat Yuri. I put Hill, LOL. I don't even know why I added Hill. That's kind of stupid to even put him there. But he was a champion on paper, so
True.
You gotta take things for some things, Then he lost to great fighters, guys. He lost to Ankalaev. That's a really hard fighter to beat. He lost to Izzy. And that's it. Like, no one else.
And he also beat both those guys, too.
He beat this guy. No one can really solve the puzzle. And I think he beats a lot of other people at light heavyweight, outside of Ankalaev, maybe in a rematch. But he could probably beat Ankalaev, too, in a rematch. You never know. Like, he's just really...
That third fight, I know people don't want to see it. I would love to see it. I want to see no injuries between the two. No sicknesses from Pereira. No rib injuries from Ankalaev. And I want to see how it goes.
Pretty good, and I think he's better than Dimitri.
Because the thing is, I guarantee you, Ankalaev was caught off guard by that as well. I don't think he expected Pereira to come at him like that.
Johnson now, because he's a double champ, like I said, and I feel like when DJ went up to become double champ, he got bullied pretty bad, didn't he? So Pereira's special, man. I feel like he's one of those people you got to keep your eye on, and he wants to be greater because he's trying to go to heavyweight. So I do think number 9 is justified for Alex Pereira, and maybe a little bit surprised from what I say because they expect me to put Izzy, but like I said, this is a realistic list, and I think realistically right now Pereira's ahead of him. Like I said, guys, this is gonna be a really accurate list. Moving on to the number 8 spot, we got Kamaru.
I have Usman at number 9, I think. I'm going to keep referring to my list here. Yeah. I Kamaru Usman at number 9. So not too far off.
Dean Usman. Of course, unlike Pereira, he's on a 15-fight win streak with 5 defenses. Pereira's 3 defenses were cute, but his defenses were against Jamal Hill, Yuri, and Khalil Roundtree. I know people who Usman defended who are better than that. But Usman beating a prime Woodley 50-44 was very impressive. Mm-hmm. Yes, Pereira's best one is probably Adesanya, but he was down 3-1 and then knocked him out. I feel like beating a champion, like I said, dominance is very favored. That's more impressive. 50-44ing Woodley, who was looked at going to be one of the best, if not the best welterweight if he went on and beat Usman. True. Then he beat prime Colby Covington twice, which is crazy to do. Colby Covington, who's practically unbeatable at welterweight before that, went in there against Usman and lost twice.
If Usman didn't exist, Colby would have been champ. It's facts.
Burns, who never lost at welterweight, lost for the first time in welterweight to Kamaru Usman. Then you have Buckley, who's riding a crazy win streak. Usman, 2-year layoff, comes back and still beats Buckley, who everyone was doubting him in that fight as well.
Dominated him,
Beat
too.
Jorge Masvidal on a 3-fight win streak. Beat RDA on the way up. Beat Sean Strickland on the way up. All those wins are aging well as well. So it's just like he's beaten a lot of people. And like unlike Silva, who has a 16-fight win streak, this is a 15-fight win streak with crazy name value. Like,
yeah,
that's a difference.
Like it's a more impressive win streak in comparison to Anderson Silva's.
Between Silva,
I agree.
Like his name value wasn't like that, but Kamaru Usman's win streak via name value is just the name value on his win streak is a lot better than 99% of UFC fighters. No one in the UFC, even Usman, even Islam guys, we're gonna talk about that. He has a win streak of Silva, but like he doesn't have like as much diversity as I feel like Usman. Usman just has a long stretch of them because even before he's fighting for the title, he's fighting people like.
No, it's true. It's true. I think I would swap Usman and Pereira, but yes.
Kamaru Usman's a lot better. That's why he's ahead of Alex Pereira. No surprise there. Moving on from number 8, we're going number 7, which is Alexander Volk.
Please, chat. Please tell me it gets better. This is not good here at all.
Volkanovski, brother. 2-time featherweight champion, 5 title defenses.
Number 3.
He beat Max 3 times. Ortega, Yair, Lopez, Aldo, Mendez. I mean, Ortega, Yair, and Lopez, like they're not like all-time great wins, but they're wins. But the Max 3 times is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Beating Aldo's pretty solid, and beating Chad Mendes is pretty solid. You know, lost to Taporia and Islam. You know, those are both nasty fighters. Lost to Islam twice. One was short notice, so like that I guess adds a little bit less, but it really doesn't because no one knocks out Volk short like that. At least unless you're Ilya Taporia. But you know, Volk's just that guy, man. He's going in there, he's beating people, even when he like getting a little bit older in his veteran age, veteran maxing against Lopez, you know, stick and moving. Volk's really good. So I feel like he has to be in the top 7. I do have him ahead of Kamaru because I feel like he's the
brother. Volk is top 5 for sure.
2-time featherweight champion. He lost the belt, got it back. If Kamaru loses the belt and gets it back and beats Islam, he's gonna go skyrocketing up this list. But he has not done that. You know, I'm not saying like obviously beating Islam would be a lot more impressive than getting your belt back by beating Lopez or whatever. But point being said is Volk's really good right now, and I feel like even right now he can still beat a lot of these young guys. Him beating Lopez again does nothing for like if he beats Lopez again, guys, he's not going up my list. I'm sorry, like the UFC just needs to give him new people. Like
I agree with that.
This is why I hate this fight for Volk. Such a lose-lose. Because if he loses to Lopez, like damn, you just lost to the guy who beat you, and it's very possible as well. Because like Lopez could land something on him, but then if he wins,
and Volk could have gotten older and slower over the last year or 9 months or whatever.
It's like it doesn't really do much for his legacy, does it? But number 7 is a fitting spot for Volkanovski, still one of the greatest of all time. Now we're going to the number 6 spot. I got Ilya Taporia. I think.
Stop! Why? Why? Just play that
Ilya
thing.
is greater than Volk all time. He's a double champion. He's just dominant. Like I say, I do favor dominance. Him knocking out Volk, him knocking out Max, him knocking out Charles, him beating people like Zala on the way up. I don't even have like the Josh Emmett fight in here in the fight with Bryce Mitchell because they're names, but they're not crazy names. I actually think Zala has better names than them because I feel like Zala's going to age well. But he lost to nobody as well. I just think he's better than Volk, objectively speaking. He's greater than Volk, and he's already a double champ. That's something Volk has tried twice and failed twice.
That doesn't have anything to do with greatness. Volk's resume is simply better. It is.
Against Islam, unfortunately, you know, Ilya got the chance not against Islam but against Charles, and he passed that test with flying colors. So
yeah, but I think Volk would have beaten Charles too.
He's just seemingly better than Volk because he did things Volk tried to do, and he did it in very impressive fashion. And I just feel like he's dominant, man. So I do have him ahead of someone like Volkanovski, who's definitely a dog. It's just that Ilya Taporia a little bit more special, maybe handsome, maybe look good. I don't know, brother. You know, I don't know. I don't fully understand. I say what I believe, and I do think Ilya Taporia is ahead of Volkanovski all time. Now we're going into the top 5 UFC fighters of all time.
Oh gosh, he's gonna put GSP at number 5, isn't he? If he puts GSP at number 5, I'm jumping out of my bed.
Time in the number 5 spot.
No way. No way I called this. No way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, listen. Chat. How are we gonna do this? Tell me. How on earth? How on earth are we gonna say these things? How? How can we do this? I don't understand. Oh my gosh. No, please. Please tell me at the end of this video he's gonna be like, I'm joking. GSP's the GOAT. That means he's gonna have Islam over GSP, by the way.
GSP, double champ, 10 title defenses. His most notable wins, I'm just going to say Hughes, Condit, and BJ Penn.
Hughes twice. BJ Penn twice. Carlos Condit. Nick Diaz. Jake Shields. Like, he has very, very good wins.
Even though BJ Penn was like fought a lightweight sometimes, he would go around.
Volk is better than Topuria. Are you okay, my man? He is way ahead of Volk already, a 2-division champion. No, he's not, bro. The resume. Max 3 times, right? Prime Max 3 times. That alone is better than anything Ilya's done, right? What? He beat Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, the Korean Zombie. I'm freaking blanking on who else. Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo. What are we talking about?
Still going to say BJ Penn. He just loses the dude's name, Matt. Like, one thing about him is he reminds me of Anderson Silva, like long win streaks, but like who you beating. But I will say
Ilya's never gone on a 3-fight loss streak. Volk didn't either. Right? He went on a 2-fight loss streak, not a 3. Remember, he beat Yair Rodriguez in between the first and second Islam fight.
Hughes is like at least like a solid all-time name. You know, I didn't even put Sarah as a notable win. Matt Sarah is like, if you actually look at Matt Sarah, he loses to a bunch of people. But that fight against GSP was kind of fluky. So I'll say the way you lost to Sarah, not fluky, but you got caught with something, got finished. You know, like GSP's a GOAT, bro. He's gonna be in my top 5. I do think he's very overrated because this is where people are probably like the GOAT list looks great, but this is where the big disagreements are gonna be. It's the next person I'm about to talk about, and I'm gonna explain to you guys why I do.
Super Islam number 4.
Guy's better than him, and it's Daniel Cormier. Now you're probably like, why is Daniel Cormier ahead of him? Because
DC. Where did I put DC? Number 8. Number 8.
They're both double champ, but GSP has more title defenses. Guys, he's the better double champ. Like, I understand going up and beating Michael Bisping. No one beats Michael.
No, fair enough. Better double champ, sure.
Michael Bisping. In my opinion, and this is where there's going to be a lot of disconnect in the chat, and this is where like the hot take is going to come in. I think beating the greatest heavyweight of all time in their prime by knockout is better than going up and beating Michael Bisping, a middleweight champion. So I think going up and
Dude, I feel like you're really coping. Double champion doesn't... It's not as good as being a dominant force in your division, in my opinion. I think it's easier to become double champion than a dominant champion in one division. Ilya has not been a dominant champion in either division yet. And, like, sure, you could say Islam beat Volk or whatever. I think Alexander Volkanovski had a harder road to becoming double champ than Ilya. Ilya fought Charles Oliveira, the easiest stylistic matchup in the division. 0 striking defense, marches forward at you, begging to be hit by a right hand. Like, of course Ilya was going to win that fight. Volk had to fight Islam, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Being the GOAT in your division is a little bit better. I'm being sarcastic, of course. It's a lot better than beating Michael Bisping. But for some reason, people don't understand.
You can't say Volk's 3 wins by decision over Holloway are better than anything Ilya has done. Ilya knocked them both out. Styles make fights. Styles make fights. That's what I gotta say to that. Because, like, Ilya has beat Volk, Max. Those are impressive wins to win by knockout, especially Max. Charles. Favorable stylistic matchup, though, right? Volk beat Jose Aldo, Max 3 times, Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, right? Korean Zombie, Chad Mendes. Ilya's beaten Volk, Max, Charles. That's pretty much it.
Then people are gonna be like, okay, but GSP had a longer win streak. GSP did not have the greatest of all time in his weight class. GSP did not have John Jones in his weight class. Let's be real. Who do you have? But again, he had fucking Nick Diaz. Like, I don't know. I think it's funny when people think GSP's better than Daniel.
Ilya slept Volk. Just because you beat a fighter doesn't mean you're greater than them or have accomplished more than them all time. Nobody considers Chris Weidman to be greater than Anderson Silva. They don't. But yet, Chris Weidman beat him twice. It's the same kind of dynamic. Just because you beat someone doesn't mean that you're greater than them all the time. We're not talking about skills. We're talking about accomplishments. Those are two separate things.
For me, because they're gonna go off longevity and win streak, but it's not his fault. Like DC beat Stipe, beat Alexander Gustafsson, beat Rumble Johnson, beat Anderson Silva, beat Uzdemir, who's still winning fights today. Like I could even get into these people who are still winning fights that DC has beaten. Let's even compare his best win being Hughes. Who's a better win, Hughes or Stipe? Stipe Miocic. Who's a better win, Carlos Condit or Alexander Gustafsson? Gustafsson. You know who's
BJ Penn, I'd argue, is a better win than Carlos Condit, though.
better win, BJ Penn, or we could compare him to Anderson Silva, I guess, or Rumble Johnson. But either one, like the latter wins. Like Daniel Cormier wins, you know. And then like I don't know, like anyone else, like I can't name someone GSP's beaten who's like still doing all right.
That's because GSP fought in an older era. That's a stupid comparison.
Or did really well after or something. Uzdemir is like still getting off wins. Uzdemir lost a very close fight to Carlos Ulberg recently, and then just came off a knockout victory, I believe. Like he's beating people who are still shining in the UFC today. It just shows you how good Daniel Cormier really is. When you actually look at Daniel Cormier and GSP, you start to realize like
It's true.
they're not that. I don't want
true.
to
Let's
say
get
they're
into
not
the
that close,
top
but like
three.
name, they're double champion, just has a better resume name value wise, and he only lost the GOATs. Daniel Cormier is greater than GSP all time. Trust me. Now we're in the
No,
top
it's not,
three.
but I respect it.
Had to do it. Number
John
three.
Jones, he's going to put Islam Makhachev at like number 2 and number 1. Wait a minute. So if it's not going to be DC, it's not going to be GSP, it's not going to be Mighty Mouse, there's going to be Islam and one other guy. Who is that one other guy going to be? What?
Spot is double champ John Jones. I did put in parentheses in the bottom right if you can see, guys. The GOAT if he's clean. I'll be real. John Jones, if he never took steroids, he should be everyone's GOAT. Even today, with what Islam did, yes, even today.
If you refuse to admit Ilya is greater than Volk, you have to admit he's close. All he needs is an Ian Gary win and he's above Volk. Are you alright? They don't even fight in the same... What do you mean he needs an Ian Gary win? Ilya doesn't fight at welterweight. Oh my gosh. What? I think you're talking about Islam. I feel like you're talking about Islam, not Ilya.
Still think he's the GOAT. The only reason he's not and he's in the number 3 spot is because he's on steroids. He did steroids. Like I feel like enhancing your body is a negative.
When are we getting an Arkham game ranking video? I thought I did the tier list recently, no? Yeah, I did the tier list not too long ago. Go check it out. It's on the channel. Subscribe.
So he beat DC twice though. Beat Cyril Gahn. Beat Gustin twice.
Also, I'm not Unk. I'm 23. Holy moly.
Beat Machida. Beat Rampage. Beat Rashad Evans. He lost to 12-6 via 12-6 elbows and steroids. He's the GOAT outside of this, guys. I'll say he's the GOAT outside of this. You know, and I value dominance really high. He was so dominant every fucking fight, man. Just versatile, dominant. You know, he has great name value. He's just so fitting for the GOAT title. And I'm not fond of Jones, but I gotta be honest. Like when it comes to fighting, this guy was special in his prime. And,
It's true.
You know, him ducking Tom Aspinall kind of like makes him look goofy, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's true.
But he's so good, dude. He's so good. Like honestly, guys, I like transparency, like full transparency. He's the GOAT. If without the cheating and steroids and all that stuff.
It's true.
I gotta be real.
But that's like saying he would have won if he didn't lose.
But since he's not the GOAT, there's got to be 2 people ahead of him. Number 2, Khabib Nurmagomedov. This is also a big pivotal point where a lot of people are going to disagree because they're like, dude,
Khabib at number 2. Do I even need to watch the rest of this? He's going to put Islam number 1. Dagestani Glazer, bro. This feels like a Lucas Tracy rage bait type thing. Like he's doing it just to spite Volk. He put Volk so low and he's going to put Islam and Khabib so high. What is
3 tower
this?
defenses. Even though Ilya has fucking 0 tower defense, or Ilya has 1 tower defense, but he should get favored, or they're gonna look at other people with like no. People like Peter Yan had like what 0 tower defenses, but
Ilya's far ahead of Volk. That's a ridiculous thing to say. Holy, that's a ridiculous thing to say. It's the quality and way of wins matter, not quantity like Volk. I don't think that knocking people out automatically makes you greater. If you want to say Ilya's a better fighter, I'm not going to disagree with you. Him and Volk are some of the most skilled fighters of all time. Ilya's the next generation fighter. I don't disagree with that take. However, Volk has accomplished more in the sport. More title defenses, more title wins, more accolades, beating Max Holloway 3 times, and Jose Aldo. Those 4 wins alone are more than anything Ilya's done. Right? You beat Volk, who you could argue was compromised. I think Ilya would have won regardless. He knocked out Max, which was an impressive feat, and knocked out Charles. That wins like the worst of the bunch because it's a favorable stylistic matchup. And not only that, but like Charles is just so chinny and so open to shots.
I saw Bedtime put him like number in the top 10 or something. Like, people are so delusional. They're gonna make fun of people for like having those. Only if it's Habib if he has 3 title defenses. Anyone else with 3 title defenses, Merab's in a lot of people's top 10. He has 3 title defenses.
Yeah, but it's also who you beat outside of your title reign. Who did you also beat before your title reign? Also plays a factor, right? Like, he beat RDA. That's a fantastic win. Dustin, Justin, Connor, Edson, even Michael Johnson. Those are great wins, right? But Merab beat what? Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen. He beat Sean O'Malley twice. He beat Umar. He beat Marlon Moraes. Like, his resume is better than Khabib's, in my opinion. Jose Aldo, even. I forgot to mention that. Like,
Khabib had better defenses. Like, I just don't understand why people like only hate on title defenses when it's Khabib. You know, they're gonna praise.
I feel like you're a Volk hater. That's what I'll say. I think you're a Volk hater, low key. Ilya did what Volk couldn't do to Max in 3 fights. It's not about whether or not you knock them out. It's like, for me, it's more just about the wins in and of itself, right? If you include finishes in your GOAT list, I think it's a bit strange unless it's like a tiebreaker.
Volkanovski because he has 5. That's 2 more.
And you think Volk would get destroyed by Oliveira? No, Volk would beat Oliveira.
You know, like, come on, man. Stop being weird. He's 3 title defenses, and I favor dominance very highly, and he happens to be the most dominant fighter in UFC history. Beat Prime RDA. Probably the best one on his resume. Beat Prime Dustin. Beat a better version of Dustin Poirier than Islam Makhachev did.
True.
And he made it look easier.
True.
He beat Prime Justin Gaethje. Beat Conor McGregor. Beat Edson Barboza in his prime. He beat even Michael Johnson, not even on this list. He beat a lot of people, guys, and he does it dominantly.
But that's it. That's all he beat. That's all he beat.
To nobody. Not only lost to nobody, but he lost rounds to nobody. People like to say that Justin.
Okay, let's just get this over with. He's gonna put Islam number 1.
One word.
We already
the
know.
best fighter in the world, guys. Islam Makhachev.
No. That's glaze, bro. That is glaze.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Islam Makhachev is the greatest of all time, guys. 16-fight win streak, tied Anderson Silva with the longest win streak in UFC history. Double champ as well as 4 title defenses. That's 1 more than Habib. 4 title defenses, and he's a double champ, guys.
No. See, I can't include a lot of this, right? Because, well, I can't say I can't include it, but a lot of this is asterisked, right? Second fight against Volk, short notice. Charles in the first Volk fight, fantastic. JDM, great win. Dustin, old on the verge of retirement. Armin, short notice, debut. He was like 22 years old. Dan Hooker, short notice replacement. Bobby Green, short notice replacement. Right, a lot of it is short notice.
And he's a double champ. Same win streak as Silva, but these not like all nobodies like Silva. These ain't nobodies. This is Volk twice. You know, 4-1 rounds to 1. The second one, knockout. Charles Oliveira, submission. That's the best submission specialist in UFC history getting submitted. JDM.
Charles Oliveira's never had great submission defense, to be fair.
Gets folded 50-44. 5 rounds straight. Dustin Poirier.
Where was the 10-8 round? What round was that? Was it round 4? I don't even remember.
Gets folded. 4 rounds to 0 and then submits him in the 5th round.
One of the judges had it 2-2. I don't think it was a complete wash.
I forgot he finished. Yeah, he finished that fight. Armin Sarukian, when they were both young, he gets that win over young Armin. That one
short notice
ends up aging well. Destroyed Hooker in 1 round, very easy. When Hooker
short notice
was looking like he was at this pinnacle.
No, he wasn't, bro. Dan Hooker. No, right before that, he lost to Michael Chandler, and then he beat Nasrat Haqparast. Then he fought Islam. Nasrat Haqparast, come on. We all know him for getting knocked out by Quilton Selkills recently, but like Nasrat's not on that level.
That was the same Hooker having competitive fights with Dustin, by the way.
Stylistic matchup. That's what I think. And that's also the fight that caused the decline of Dan Hooker.
Getting mollywopped in 1 round. And he lost to a fluke. Like, roided Pantoja went in there. Fucking hit him. Fuck. Pantoja, why'd you do it? But, you know, it's just, he's the greatest of all time to me, man. I'm pushing the propaganda. I'm pushing it.
Yeah, you're dang right. You're pushing the propaganda. I'm turning this video off. I'm saving your guys' ears. W-stream. Islam Makhachev's third on the GOAT list from an unbiased point of view. I have him at number 5. I have him at number 5. I think it is. Yeah, number 5. Nasrat was borderline ranked. Borderline ranked. You hear yourself, right? Borderline ranked. Oh, man. That doesn't mean anything. Dan Hooker's ranked number 6? Like, no. Dan Hooker was never that high level, in my opinion. I think he was severely overrated. Well, anyway, now that we're done watching those, we're calling it a stream there. My next stream will be the gaming stream. No, maybe not. I might do one more UFC stream on Saturday. That's a possible. Why 5? Let's hear your top 4. Okay, I think Merab is over Islam, due to the resume difference. I think Volk is over Islam. I think DJ is over Islam, and I think GSP is over Islam. How does Makhachev versus Usman play out in your opinion? I think Makhachev wins pretty easily. I don't think Dan Hooker's all that either. He's still super quality. I wouldn't say super quality. It's a good win. It's not an elite win, especially because it was short notice. What, like a month's notice? I guess, and like, I'm not even talking about from a conditioning standpoint. Merab over Islam. Yeah, it's true. Okay, I'll tell you why. Okay, just hear me out. I'm going to pull up Merab's resume. Okay? And I'm going to pull up Islam Makhachev's resume. Let me get this straight. Merab and Volk over Islam. Yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me pull up Merab's resume here. Okay. Oh, there we go. So Merab's resume, let's go back, right? So this is back when he first joined the UFC. You know, nothing really too notable, right? His first somewhat notable win was John Dodson. Cody Stamann, whatever. Okay. Then he beats Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov, Sean O'Malley again, and Corey Sandhagen. All right. Now, let's look at Islam Makhachev's resume. Merab's lost draws him below. Islam beat Volk twice. I know past prime, but it's still super close in short notice. But, like, I don't believe losses necessarily drop you below unless you're, like, losing every single fight in your prime. Right? Losses are more of a tie-breaking factor for me. Right? Okay, now let's go back here to Islam. So, you know, he starts off his career, nothing really too notable. Gleason Tebow, okay. Arman Tsarukyan's kind of around the time that it starts. Okay? Arman Tsarukyan, he took the fight on short notice, and he made his UFC debut he took this fight to make his UFC debut on short notice. He was literally 22 years of age at the time. And Arman made it competitive. A young Arman made it competitive. Davi Ramos, Drew Dober's not a great win. It's an okay win at best. Thiago Moises, not a great win. Right? I don't know if Islam was ranked or not at the time of this fight. I think he was like out just at the top 15 or around that range. Then he beat Dan Hooker, took the fight on short notice, right? And Dan Hooker, like I said, I've never been that high on him. Bobby Green, another short notice replacement. That's why it was a catch weight of 160, right? And he got a title shot off that. Beat Charles Oliveira. That's a great win. Alexander Volkanovski, again, another fantastic win, right? The second Volk fight was another short notice replacement, a featherweight moving up on short notice. It was also a young Islam, who had a full training camp to prepare. That's the whole point. They pulled in a random dude in Arman for that, right? To fill in the role and give Islam a fight, and did pretty well. The second fight, short notice, and was a featherweight. Dustin Poirier was old, on the verge of retirement, was considering retirement after this fight, and even before this fight, kind of like he was kind of 1 foot out the door. Then Renato Moicano, 1 day's notice. Renato Moicano. Doesn't matter full training camp or even short notice. Renato Moicano is not that great, right? He lost to an older Beneil Dariush. JDM's a great win, right? But the welterweights, in my opinion, are not as skilled as the lightweights. A lot of Islam Makhachev's resume is filled with asterisks. Now, a lot of it's not his fault, right? A lot of his opponents pull out. So there's not a whole lot that you can really do about that. I can't hold that against Islam, but I also can't praise him for it either. So a lot of his resume is filled with asterisks. Either old fighters looking to retire, a lot of short notice replacements. It just doesn't look good. Now, Alexander Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, JDM. Fantastic wins. But from Rob, I would say Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov, Jose Aldo, even Henry Cejudo, right? Both Sean O'Malley fights. Fantastic wins. And that doesn't even include guys like Cody Stamann and John Dodson, right? Especially Cody Stamann's not a fantastic win. John Dodson's an okay win. Cody Stamann's not the best win. But Marlon Moraes, Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley twice, Umar, Corey. Better than Islam's resume. But Islam has more finishes than the decision machine, I'm assuming you meant to put, in class decision Merab. Okay, finishes don't make you greater by default. That's not a part of the criteria, not in my opinion. Who you beat is more important than getting a finish. His title wins are more impressive than Merab's? Not to me. Not to me. Dustin Poirier was super good at the time as well. Also, many doubted Islam against JDM or said it was going to be close. I mean, how many move up a weight class and weight bully the champion? I wouldn't say Dustin Poirier was super good. He was out of his prime. By probably over a year at that point. Out of his prime, for sure. He was declining. He was a lot slower, a lot less willing to engage, a lot less willing to throw. And, like, against JDM, sure, a lot of people said it's going to be 50-50. Doesn't really mean a lot, though. It doesn't really mean a lot what they say. Right? I understand what you mean, like, people said it was going to be competitive, but Islam just took away all doubts. Sure. That's a great win, like I said. Islam's amazing. I think he's the most potential today to become the #1 GOAT, but if he defends the welterweight belt and breaks Anderson Silva's record, it's kind of undeniable. He's tied with Anderson Silva's record right now, right? Yes, he's tied. Okay, it's right here on the screen. Okay. He's tied. So one more win and you think he's the GOAT? If he beats Kamaru Usman, he's not the GOAT, bro. Are you crazy, bro? Islam has a way better resume than Merab. You're a hater. I literally just broke down why that's not the case. He was out of prime, but still fraud chicken prospects. He was 100% willing to throw. That's all he wanted to do. Not against Islam. I get there was the threat of the takedown, but Dustin was not his usual self in that fight. Yes, sure, it's because Islam's just that good. I can see that to you, right? But you could also argue Dustin Poirier was relatively short notice as well. But, like, that's not an argument I'm trying to make. But I'm just saying you could argue that. But I think that Merab's resume has a lot less asterisks on it. It shows you're on a different level than your opponent in a finish. Okay, but you can also dominate someone 50-45 to a decision, like JDM did, or like Islam did against JDM, right? He wasn't able to get the finish, but people praise that win for being so dominant. But most of Merab's wins were pretty dominant as well. I think if Islam beats Ian Gary, Shavkat, and Usman, he's an undeniable GOAT. That's a different discussion. That's a different discussion. You think I'm a bit of a hater. I don't think I'm a hater at all. I just call things like I see them. I don't hate Islam. Merab isn't dominating anybody, though. Well, he did dominate the majority of his fights. JDM, Volkan, Oliveira, and Armin are way better than any Merab wins. Armin, at the time, was not a fantastic win. That was a short-notice replacement who they called into the UFC to fight Islam. Like, I get it. Like, maybe it's a hot take for me, but I'm standing my ground on this one. Like, I think that, like I said, Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley twice, Umar, Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan, Jose Aldo, Marlon Moraes. Especially, like, those wins, even if they, like, a lot of them have aged pretty well or going to age well. I shouldn't say they have aged pretty well. Like, the Peter Yan wins age pretty well. But these ones haven't really had enough time to really, like the Sean O'Malley and Umar wins and the Corey wins, haven't really had enough time to properly stew to age well or not. No, he didn't. They're all 48-47 decisions aside from the O'Malley finish. No, the O'Malley first fight was pretty dominant, like 49-46. The Henry Cejudo win was 29-28. Second and third round were dominant. Peter Yan win was dominant. Jose Aldo win was relatively dominant. Marlon Moraes, he did almost get finished in. Corey Sandhagen was relatively dominant. I agree that Islam's higher than Merab, but it's like neck and neck. Yeah. I'm not saying that one is like you're making it sound like I think Merab's up here and Islam's way down here. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that I think that Merab's higher. And he got that 10-8 round against Sandhagen. Yeah. His wins are pretty dominant. Bro, he's Canadian. What does that have to do with anything? That means I should just be only sitting here and talking about GSP. And there's also an asterisk on some Merab wins, like an old Aldo, injured John, who we could see beats Merab healthy. Sure. You want to say Peter Yan had the broken hand? Fair enough. An old Aldo? Yeah. I'd say it wasn't a prime Aldo. It's still a great win, but not a prime Aldo. You're an average white boy UFC cash. Okay, bro. What does the color of my skin have to do with it? I swear people just be bringing up stuff at this point. You should do actual debates? Possibly. I feel like the problem with debates, though, I feel like I'd get really angry listening to, like, Lucas Tracy. I feel like I get really angry listening to that guy in a debate. Although he'd probably do it on purpose. But yeah, Nico, you're moving a little bit wild here. Not gonna lie to you, you're moving a little bit wild. Also, old Cejudo. Kind of, but it wasn't like the Cejudo that fought like Peyton Talbot kind of old. Right, he had just come off a very close fight over Aljamain Sterling. Right? Like, we can have this conversation civilly. We don't need to, get all hostile or nothing. We can relax. Okay, this is meant to be a fun discussion. I think that Merab and Islam are neck and neck. Let's say if Islam goes out there and beats Ian Gary, Michael Morales, possibly, Shavkat, someone like that, okay, then maybe Islam will be greater. But right now, as it stands, I just think there's too many asterisks on the resume. Like, either a lot of the wins are not top caliber, a lot of them are short notice, or, old contemplating retirement. That's the way I look at the whole Islam resume. Whereas Merab's have less asterisks. If Islam beats Ian Gary, Shavkat, and Morales, he's the GOAT. Possibly, right? Probably. I'd obviously have to, see this stuff written down on paper, then I would be able to tell you, right? Like, yeah, if you look at Islam's resume now, right, Volk twice, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, JDM. Those are, his best wins. If you add on guys like, Ian Gary, Shavkat, and Michael Morales on top of these, sure. How I say if Merab would have beaten Jan, I would have put him above Islam, but for now, I put him above Merab for sure. The only issue is that James fight was so bad, it's hard to even count it. I see your point. No, but see, I understand it. I understand why you would put Islam over Merab. I just personally don't. I think it's close. I think it's very close. I'm not trying to say it's, dominant one way or another. What's, another, who else is in my top 10 here that people might want to, debate me about? Right, I put Jose Aldo at number 6, right below Islam. Do you think he could be the welterweight GOAT? No, I doubt it. All of his lightweight defenses outside my corner are arguably better win than those 3. Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, was not that great. It was a great win, but it wasn't prime Dustin. Not at all. And the second Volk fight as well. I get Merab as the bantamweight GOAT, but putting him above a potential UFC goes out of my mind. Well, I don't have Islam as the GOAT. I have him at number 5. Right? Like I said, they're neck and neck. One's number 5, one's number 4. I'm not talking about putting Islam number 10 and Merab number 1. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think that you're misconstruing it. What the... Yeah, I got Jose Aldo number 6, Islam number 5, Merab number 4, Volk number 3, DJ number 2, GSP number 1. That's how I see it. I should have made a freaking video out of this. Would have been a great video idea, though. Would have gotten flamed. I guess I gotta put that, if I make a UFC hot takes video that I make myself, post my own hot takes, that's gonna go in there. So thank you guys for the idea. I love the content idea. Did I post my latest short? No, I didn't. But I'm probably going to call it a stream there, guys. I might do a stream Saturday. If not, the gaming stream will be on Sunday. We'll keep playing Batman the Telltale series. And I have an idea for the next gaming video I want to do. So stay tuned for that. But W stream for real, guys. It's been fun. I know we disagree on this or whatever, but at the end of the day, we all love the sport. Right? We all love the sport in various different ways. We all have various different GOAT lists and favorites and stuff. And we come together to watch a sport we love, and we all observe it differently, which is the beauty of mixed martial arts, that how we all interpret it differently. So, I appreciate each and every one of you, even when we disagree. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything. What does that say? I can't even I can't even read what that says in chat. Alex Pereira above Khabib. Yeah, I have Alex Pereira. I have Alex Pereira at number 7. Yeah, Alex Pereira number 7. All right, guys. I gotta hop off. I gotta get up at probably 7:30. I gotta be up to about 7 hours. So I hope you all have a good night. Tomorrow's video will probably be something for the stream. Not today's stream, yesterday's. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that if you didn't watch the stream. Love you all. Hope you all have an amazing night. Stay tuned for the shorts videos tomorrow. And if you're into the gaming stuff, stick around for the